evening, sir.
How are you doing?
By the grace of God, I'm in good health.
Give me a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay. I am Sani Azud Fuseni. I'm a second year public health nursing student and an aspirant for the office of the whole provincial Src secretary.
Can you tell me the functions of the whole provincial general secretary?
Okay, as the whole provincial general secretary, it is his responsibility to keep and then maintain accurate and then true minutes of the proceedings of within the whole province of the Src.
Okay, so I'm looking at your policies and I'm seeing something. Firstly, one of the policies I hope to achieve when elected into office is the stress-free transport policy.
Yes,
Can you expound on that?
So talking about the stress-free transport policy is one of the challenges that I observed for the students in UHAS here, for us the students in UHAS here. And then the reason why I am targeting this agenda is to reduce the level of stress that students go through every day, up and down for their lectures. And as a secretary, I believe maybe aside discharging my basic responsibilities under the Constitution, I'm also hoping that I can contribute my quota to make this transport challenge, at least to reduce it, or to make it a better one.
But, Mr. Sani, is it your work constitutionally?
Constitutionally, it's not. Constitutionally, it's part of my work. Constitutionally.
Take your time, relax, feel free. I mean, and take it easy.
Okay.
Is it constitutional? Is it your work?
Constitutional is not my work.
It's not your work. Don't you think that instead of doing something that is constitutionally not your work, you rather have to channel your energy or your resources towards something that is constitutionally your work? Don't you think so?
Yeah, I know of my constitutional duties.
Okay.
But aside the constitutional duties, I believe, I don't know, I'm seeing it that as executives or whole provincial executives, we help each other, and then with the positions that we are given, at least we can also add our voice to certain challenges that we observe.
I see. And then, so I'm going to ask you a question, right? You've written to facilitate, that is, I think the next, I don't know if I say a paragraph, but anyway, to facilitate effective communication between the student's body and the SRC, right?
Yes, please.
So, let me ask, what differentiates you between the federal secretary and then your position, that is the provincial secretary?
Okay.
What's the main difference between you guys?
Okay. Constitutionally,
Okay.
the provincial secretary is responsible for taking up minutes and then, carrying out correspondences within the whole province. But outside the whole province, and then that one comes the federal secretary. But within the whole province, and not being a general assembly meeting, that one.
Okay, because I'm time, but let's be practical about this. So we all know that the federal secretary is in Ho.
Yes.
You're also in Ho.
Yeah.
So does it mean that his work dominates over yours as in here? Or where do you come in when both of you are in Ho?
Okay, when both of us are in Ho and then we are in the same meeting, I work hand in hand with him. She does most of, or that person does most of the work. I just contribute, or I just bring out my suggestion. I work hand in hand. Maybe I'll be his or her right hand person.
I see. So that colleague will ask you.
Mr. Sani, right?
Yes, please.
Great. So first off, personally, I have interest in the office you are running in for, General Secretary, regardless of it being federal, NOOCs, or whatever. Because I've been a secretary before, so I mean, I'm sweet towards this office. So my questions will be in relation to the general skill sets that you should possess as a secretary. Okay. So first up, what is a minute?
A minute is a brief statement about a meeting.
Statement. I know, I'm just verifying.
Okay, let me say a brief record of a meeting, a particular meeting at a particular point in time. Yeah.
Can you write a minute?
Yes, please.
Can you mention 5 components that should make up a good minute?
Okay, for a good minute, you have to, there's call to order. You start with a call to order, and then you get the number of attendees. Attendees, we have something also called the attendees. It could be the voting members, guests, and then, other members too. Mm-hmm. And then, the approval of minutes, approval of the minutes also comes in.
Of which minutes, please? Is it approval of minutes? But you're already writing one. So I just want the clarity, that's all.
I'm writing one.
Okay. So you've mentioned the call to order. You mentioned attendance. And the next thing you're saying is what you just mentioned, right?
Okay. If it's a new one, then there's no need for approval.
No, I'm not saying you are wrong. You're saying there's something minutes, and I'm asking which of the minutes. You don't get. Fine. Continue.
Okay. So
continue. Mention there. You've mentioned 3, so mention the other 2.
Yeah. So you should also get the how do I say, you have to get the dates and then the location and the time. It should all be included in the minutes. And then it has a main body, it has a main body. After your introduction, you have a main body and it's.
Okay, so Mr. San, I'll move on to my second question, okay. You are typing a report, maybe a report to be submitted to your superior, immediate superior, that is the whole provisional president, or even maybe the federal Src secretary, right? Okay. You are typing it on MS Word. Between these alignments, which one would you use? So right alignment, center alignment, left alignment, and justify. Which would you use and why?
Okay, the letter you're writing has the report you're writing has many components. Okay. So for the title, I will prefer center. I'll go for center alignment. And then for the main work itself, I'll do it left alignment.
Left alignment.
Yeah, I'll go with left alignment.
Okay. Okay, sure. So one more thing, right? Do you know what a memo is? A memorandum. Do you know what it is?
Yes, please. I know a memorandum.
Okay, great. So in writing a memo, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you start from. So the first thing is memo. That's the topic.
Sure.
Then next we have from or to. Yeah. So there are instant from comes. Have you seen things like that before?
Sure, I've observed.
So I just want you to differentiate. That's my last question, then we move on. Okay. So I want you to differentiate. In what instances would we have the from coming in first before the to? Like, in what instance do we have from coming in first? And in what instance would we have the to coming in first? Do you get the question?
Yeah.
You understand it?
Sure.
Sure.
So when you're writing it, for the to, is when you are the person you are writing to is of higher rank than you, or is in a higher authority. And then from the from, when we are in a higher authority and you are writing to someone at a lower authority, that's when the from will come first.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome once again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So what do you think that you have that makes you the right person for the provincial secretary?
Okay. I believe I have some communication skills, and I know I'll be working with a lot of people. So I believe I have that communication skills, and then I'm also sociable, and then I believe that my strengths in facilitating communication between the students and then the SRC, it wouldn't be a challenge to me. So I believe with these things in mind, I am the best guy. I see myself as someone who can handle the portfolio.
On your policies, so your first policy is about stress-free transport policy.
Yes,
so in case you are elected, or let me just say, when you are elected, and your president says we can't do that, what happens to that policy?
And my president says I can't do that.
Yes, please.
Okay, if my president says I can't do that, I'll talk to him, or I'll discuss with him the need. I'll make him know the need for this stress-free transportation, and then how helpful it will be to the student. If he still doesn't agree, then and then I believe maybe if he doesn't agree, he'll give me a reason, and then I'll be okay with that.
So that means if he gives you a good reason, the policy will die.
Yes, please.
It will die.
Yeah, maybe he has something better to solve that this transportation challenge or this stress.
Okay, what if he doesn't have an alternative?
If he doesn't have an alternative.
Okay.
I'll still try on it. I'll still be
Okay.
trying.
So
Yeah.
we've realized that a lot of the times communiques and notices don't get to students very well. Okay, so as a provincial SRC secretary, when you are elected, how would you ensure that students get to know about anything happening in the school?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. It was, to be frank, for me to be sincere here, and I'm being sincere, had I not filed a portfolio, had I not filed a form to, aspire for this position, I wouldn't have known the provincial secretary. I wouldn't have known him. So it's a big challenge, but for me, what I think is they are doing, he's working, but it's not all that encouraging. So I'll try and make it effective by disseminating the information through the various platforms that we have. I'll also make sure that the Gmail, the school has, all the students has their respective Gmails. I'll make sure that it is used effectively. And then whenever there's an update on sitting, parliamentary sitting, or any business of the SRC, which the students' body needs to be aware, I'll try my best. One, I'll go through their Gmails. Two, I'll also share it with the course reps, and then all platforms that we have on campus. And I believe, if not all the students that will receive that info, at least quite a good number of them will get the information.
Okay. So there's supposed to be a general assembly in each province for Ho and Hohoi. And usually this assembly is supposed to meet and decide on issues of the province. Have you attended any general assembly since you came to the school?
Any general assembly?
Meeting of the whole province?
For SRC assembly meeting, I've not attended one.
I don't mean the ones the parliamentarians meet. I mean the one the province is supposed to meet. Have you done that before?
No, please.
Okay.
I've not attended.
Have you heard of one before?
I've heard of a general assembly.
No. Have you heard of a general assembly meeting happening before by the SRC in whole province?
I've not heard of one.
You've not heard.
Okay, I'll communicate, I'll discuss with my superior, which is the president, the need for us to organize the General Assembly, at least while school is in session, or maybe every semester. And then I'll also make him aware that it's in the Constitution that at least every month, while school is in session, we need to communicate about the current state of the SRC, and then the students' welfare. At least we need to engage the students in a general meeting. So I'll make him aware of that, and then we'll schedule an appropriate time for the meeting.
My last question for you. What is JCR?
JCR?
Yes.
Junior Common Room.
Okay. Does UHAS have a JCR system?
I've not heard of one, and I don't know of one.
You know that General Assembly meetings made up of executives and the JCR president?
JCR president. I'm not aware of that, and I don't know of any JCR in UHAS.
So the problem actually is we don't have a lot of JCR presidents. So right now we have the school is trying to build more halls for us to have a JCR system. Okay, so coming in, how will you push the agenda of we getting a JCR for the province?
A JCR for the province.
It's not only one JCR.
Yeah.
There will be many, because for every hall there's supposed to be a junior common room representative. So if you are coming in, how are you going to ensure that we get every hostel to have junior common room members?
In the whole province.
Yes, please.
Okay. So for the junior common room, I'll first work with my superior, which is the president, and then we write it in the communique, addressing the need for the JCR, and then we forward it to the directorate in charge. I forward it to the directorate in charge, and then you hope to hear something from them. That's the best I can do.
Mr. Fuseni, right?
Yes, please.
That's your surname.
No, my surname is Sani.
Okay, Mr. Sani. Thanks for the correction.
Okay.
So you have 4 policies that I want to bring on board.
Okay, yes, please.
How many of them centers on your core mandate?
Okay, the first one, I have the stress-free transport rights. And then the second one
Was to facilitate effective communication.
okay, facility communication. And the third one was
Award initiative.
award, yes, award
Scholarship
initiative.
award initiative.
Sure.
Okay.
And then
So then, let's first start with, what is your core mandate?
my core mandates, keeping, and then I'll be responsible for keeping and maintaining true records of minutes of the SRC in the whole province here. And also, I'll be responsible for conducting correspondences.
Okay,
of
so
the,
let me just,
yeah,
I'll just tell what the Constitution is saying, so thank you.
yes, yeah,
You just saw a committee
yeah,
putting an injunction on the SRC, the vetting, and the EC electioneering processes. And there was a name written at the bottom. We called to find out, the person said he wasn't the one who wrote it. Now, in your policy statement, you said you create a feedback system which is anonymous. That means people can channel their grievances, and they are not known. How do we attach seriousness to that issue? Because the letters with names at the bottom. I'm not the ones writing it.
yes,
You are creating an anonymous system, and you're going to management.
yeah,
To tell management that these are the problems that we have, the students are facing.
yes.
Who wrote it? Anonymous.
Okay, so with the anonymous, the creation of the online feedbacks and then the anonymous forms, it's not to carry it out directly to the management. For genuine challenges or for any important official things that we need for. Yeah,
So if you are writing and they tell you, you are saying that the students are facing that.
yeah.
Official, there's no name written. What prevents the student? If I'm facing a problem, I'm having an issue.
Sure.
What prevents me from writing a letter with my name attached to it, just to make sure my grievances are
Addressed. Okay. Some students are there, they are not acquainted with the SRC executives. And even if they are willing to say it and then it's a painful truth, they will not feel comfortable to voice it out. So if anonymous forms and online feedbacks are created, we will just look at the happenings in the province and then how we can solve or how we can serve the students better. For who wish his or her concerns to be addressed, or who wish he or she has a name in the form that he or she has filled, the person can direct it to the email, through the email, the UHAS SRC email, and then it will be given the official proceedings. But for other people who have other challenges that they think that it will not be comfortable for them to face any SRC executive and then communicate to him or her, the person can make it anonymously. There is a saying that in the case of every rumor, there is an iota of truth. So maybe like if many people, if it's anonymous and many people are throwing.
So, don't you have something called agenda? If you have something called agenda, what is an agenda?
Agenda, yeah.
So it might not be true, but I just get people to support me.
Yeah.
So if people are sending an email, one they know because it's a personal thing to your office, and I say you're not going to be secretive or keeping identity if the case are sensitive. But in case management won't prove, you can show it to them because they are going to. So why still creating anonymous?
So in the case of that, you go by the email, because for every email there is a receiver and then there's a sender.
Yes.
So you get to know
Can I
that.
ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you know last year, someone created an email, which at the first look, looks like the university's email they'll be giving to the student. But for that a Gmail. You know the university, your name, you have a way of arranging it.
Yes.
And at the end it's UHAS.edu. The person created the same email, but at the end it's .gmail. But the person who, the name there, when you contact the person didn't even know anything about it. So the university has been found, it has been found that the students have been pushing agenda. And this has not been happening. And you are also giving a room for people to be anonymous in sending a message. Then, how are you going to help the student populace?
Okay, for the anonymous, that's what I'm saying. It's not something that we are going to rely on it when engaging management. If you want to rely on information from students in order to engage with the management, we'll go with the email form or maybe a letter, a written letter by someone, and then the name present. But sometimes if maybe there are barriers that maybe you don't want to write it in a letter form, you can submit it in the email. And then the school email to, maybe we engage the school IT people to make it more encrypted so that like it will only students who are registered in the university can access it. So we have a special email for that.
So you may mention of your first policy, stress-free transport policy.
Yes.
I want to know if you know the processes that goes through in getting buses to work on campus.
Okay. So for the stress-free processes.
No, I'm not talking about the stress-free.
Yeah.
In getting buses to work on campus.
Okay. In getting buses to work on campus, I'm not saying they should get, they should by all means get buses to work on campus, but at least there are available buses here. And in the way we are managing the buses, if you are to make some rules to govern it, we will all enjoy the way we use the buses.
For example, so give me, the way you're saying it, that means there are particular examples that you can give.
Yes.
So
for example, the issue of overloading like this, the issue of delaying in time. If we can work, if I come, I'll make sure that I work with the transport committee chairperson. And then we also engage the head of transport in the school level of the university. And then they will talk to the conductors, or they'll communicate with them that the way they pack the students, they should make sure that they minimize it. At least they should reduce it. Even though if they can't stop, they should reduce the number of people that they take. Because a bus has a limited number of students that it's supposed to carry.
Thank you. Do you know the capacity of the buses working currently?
Yes, please.
What's the capacity?
It's around 46.
46.
Yeah.
Do you know how many, what program are you offering?
I'm doing public health nursing.
How many people are in the class?
We are 77.
So that means you can't go into one bus.
Yes, we can go into one bus.
So that means your class, you need two. And most you have your class with the nurses.
Yes, please.
And you have them with the midwives.
Yeah.
So that means that the nurse will have about 5 buses.
Yeah.
So it means that we still need to get more buses. Because
yeah, that's what it
and
means.
it's not only your school
Yeah.
that is going for lectures at that time.
Sure.
So how feasible? Because now, first, you've not told me the process that it goes through. I've asked that question earlier.
Yes, that process. I've not answered that
Yes.
yet.
So now, if we don't know the process, or maybe I need to answer,
Yeah.
we need the processes to know, because now I need new buses. Because the ones we have, based on what you're saying, 44, and your class alone is more than that. I'm sure PA is more than that.
Sure.
And that means that they will need 2 buses each.
Yeah.
And you know classes are being scheduled at the same time.
Yeah.
So it means that the number, how many buses currently are available?
I think there are 3.
3. So then, you need to get more buses.
Yes, we need to get.
So tell me the
definitely.
process of getting these buses, because that will determine your feasibility of that policy.
Okay. So for the processes that are involved in getting the buses, I've not made inquiries on that. But when I come, and I'm not sure it's an easy process that we go through to get additional buses. But what my concern here is the way they manage the buses. I know that at least maybe one bus is supposed to take about 44 students, or maybe let's say 46 students, if you are to manage it because of the inadequate buses here, at least you can take times 2. But here's the case: you go into the bus and it will be times 3, and then some will be at risk. Some are always at risk to the extent that they are always just beside the door, like
So if you
a
notice
few
this problem,
steps. The person can fall.
you've noticed them. But the thing is, you are giving us a policy.
Yeah,
We are moving for a system where we are voting for, is it tribalism or something?
yeah,
It's like we want to vote on policies. We want to build the youth such a way that when we are moving ahead, we vote based on what? Policies. And this is a policy.
yeah.
But it looks like your policies are not being well thought through. Because when you come and the processes are tedious, it means that whoever voted for you, that I'm being stressed when going to PEM site or main campus because I've been and you are going to do that. But your policy here is not well thought through. How then can I vote for you based on policy?
Okay, so I'm trying to. The reason why it's in the policy, or it's a policy, is that I will show, I'll make an attempt to get adequate buses, or to get at least additional buses for us. And here's the case for the processes. I don't know, but I don't believe it's an easy process.
You are second year, right?
Yes, please.
So first year you saw Metro Mass,
Yeah, I saw Metro.
and it's now seeing Ayalolo.
Ayalolo. Yeah.
So you know there's some transportation change. As soon as a policy, you should have
Yeah.
actually spent some few minutes of your time
Yeah.
to ask the transport officer the processes that goes involved, and that would have made your policy a good one.
Sure. But even though there is a change, but we are hoping to, as it changed from the first year to the second year, from Metro Mass to Ayalolo, we are still hoping that maybe we make a change. That's why we just
But before you
stated.
can make a change, you need to know the process laid down.
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Sani Azud Husseini,
Yes, sir.
in your policies, you made mention of transport, like making things easier for students in terms of transport. So I want to ask you if you know the current transport committee head.
Yes, please.
What's his
He's
name?
in the person of Adomatano Ebenezer.
Okay. What about the head of transport for the university?
Head of transport. I'll find that out. I don't know that one.
So can I conclude and says you don't have, like, you are not following the transport system of the school,
I'm following the transport system.
but you don't know the head of transport.
Yeah.
Okay. So you also made mention of to facilitate effective communication between the student body and the SRC, as in you help relay information to the student body. So I want to ask, give me any means by which this information can get to the student, like the majority of the students.
Okay. So one of these means is the class platforms. All the class platforms are running effectively. I will engage with the course reps, and then every information I will send it to the course rep, or they personally add me to the page, because sometimes some of them might be busy and then they might not be able to drop it. So I'll make sure that I'm present in most of the class platforms, or I engage the course reps and then send the messages to them. They put it in the class platforms. That's one way. Another way is through the email. I'll work with the ICT people, and then any message I get, I forward it to them. They'll put it in the broad email distribution page.
Okay, you made mention of they will add you to the class page.
Yeah.
Hey, let's say medicine, about 6 levels, pharmacy, 6 levels, med lab, 4 levels, and we have numerous courses on campus, and
Yes,
we
yes.
added to all these groups.
Yeah. When I say like added to the page, I mean like some of them. I'll be added to. I'll make sure I'm part of some. At least for my school, I can join all the pages. The three. I'm under the School of Nursing and Midwifery, so I can be on the midwifery page. Or we even have a common platform, Sunam. So all these ones, I can be on it, and then I'll just forward it, and then another school, at least 2, and then the rest I'll engage with the course rep, and then do forward it to their respective pages.
Don't you think using SMS system to give to communicate between the SRC and the student body would rather be better?
Okay, I think that one too is also better, but that one, I'll talk, when I happen to come into power or into office, I'll discuss it with the president, and then we see how we can manage that. Because sometimes too they take some token from the SMS and other stuff. So if there are funds available, we can go by that one too.
Okay. Are you familiar with Microsoft Office?
Yes, please.
So let's say you can type. You know how to use Microsoft Word very well.
Yes, please.
Okay. So you are the one who prepared this.
Yes, please.
Okay. So have you noticed any grammatical error or any mistake in your CV?
In the CV, I've not noticed one.
Okay. So I think where you indicated your program, after the program, the rest of the numbers, as in the public like this, the P's, small alphabet, the health, and the nursing too, as well. Is there any comment or any special format for that one?
Okay, so what I used was Times New Roman, and then the font size was, I think, 12.
I'm not talking about the font size. I'm talking about you not making the first letters capital letter.
Then that was an error on my part. I did not observe it, so maybe I did not figure that out.
Error.
I did not figure that out.
So you didn't figure it out. So if you are giving out, let's say, a minute to the entire student populace, and you make such a mistake, which gives different definition of what you want to tell the students, don't you think you are rather harming?
Before the information goes out, it needs to undergo review. So maybe I showed it to someone and the person couldn't also identify that there's a mistake in it. So anytime I've learned it from here, and then I believe that as they have been doing, there's been a culture that anytime you trend or you relay messages to the student populace, it needs to undergo review. So you need to be working with other people to reduce the risk of committing.
So meaning you just learned it?
I know of it, and I've learned it again.
Okay, so why did you to give out your CV for other people to also have a look at it?
Oh, I sent some of my documents to other people to review at it, but some of them couldn't find out any mistakes in it.
Okay. You have also indicated your personal experiences and, yeah.
My personal experiences?
Yes.
Please ask me.
As in, let's say, okay, you indicated your leadership role, yes. But let's say personal experiences in terms of, how should I put it? Personal experiences, let's say, your ability to communicate well, like something like that. Yeah, personal experiences.
Personal experiences. I think this.
Yeah, and the skills.
The skills. Okay. You said it's not indicated on.
Yes. You can have a look at it.
Okay. Maybe so it means that I couldn't get all the information on it. But for the skills or the personal experiences, I believe that I'm a good typist. I've been typing people's work for them, and that I think I don't have challenge in typing.
Yes. So, if we want to validate this CV that you've given us, who do we go to?
If I want to validate it.
If we want to validate it, because you've given us, you said you went to Pennell Academy. It could be a lie. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying something. So if you want to validate every information, who do we go to?
Okay, I should have indicated some people's names or let's say references there, but I also saw the format. You know, when you go online, you get many formats of CV writing. So I chose one format and then I followed it. So there's no person's name there.
Mr. Please, can you help me with your name?
Sani Fuseni.
So, Fuseni.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess you are fine, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is everything all right?
Everything is all right.
Are you sure?
Yes, please.
Okay. Your CV. Do you really regard what we are doing here to be something of high importance?
Yes, please. I regard it as something important. So.
Like you really regard what we are doing here as something that is that should be held in high esteem.
Yes, please.
So you submitted this as a CV, and do you have a copy over there?
No,
Yes,
I don't
sir.
have a copy.
But the CV, this is not a CV. There's nothing to even validate what you've written.
Okay. As in reference or?
Yes, there's no reference. There is no skill. There are no competencies. You see, the reason why we are asking for CV is we have limited time, so we can't tell us what position you held in your SHS, what position you held in your primary schools, what competencies you have, what other things you have. You see, so the CV would educate us on that. But if you bring just a half-page paper here, and everything is bulleted with 2 lines spacing, and you would just give us education background and leadership roles, and even the leadership roles is just something that you are doing in UHAS here. There's nothing that dates back to where you've been. When you do that, it makes the work difficult. And you going for the position of the General Secretary, the Provincial Secretary, right? Isn't it questionable that even your own CV, you didn't prepare it well? I wouldn't say you don't have to prepare it, but you didn't prepare it well.
Okay.
Do you agree with me?
I don't know. That's for what?
Yes or no? Do you agree with me?
That I'll say yes.
You didn't prepare it well, right?
I'll say yes.
Yes means you didn't prepare it well.
I can't say I did not prepare it well.
So what's the answer? No or yes? Just let us so that we move on. Because with this, you can't. Have you been for an interview before? Have you been to an interview before?
No.
For a work?
No, please.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. But with this, it's not a good CV. Okay. So you would work on that, and you follow. And you said you searched online,
Yes.
and you saw this format.
Yeah.
But I believe you being the you vying for this position,
Yeah.
you should be able to sort out good information online.
Yeah.
So when you look for, you saw other methods,
Yes, please.
and you chose this as the preferred one.
Okay. From what I read and then I typed my
No
own
problem. No, but this is not good. Okay.
Okay.
The second one is you said you've been typing people's work for them.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you like? Is it assignment or people's story or like what do you type for them?
Oh, it's sometimes assignments.
Sometimes assignment.
Yeah.
Have you heard of something we call academic integrity?
Academic integrity.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
You've not heard about it.
I've heard it's a word. I've heard of it, but I
you
don't know about
what it means.
Yeah.
So when you say academic integrity, but you understand what academic is.
Yes.
You
I
understand what integrity
integrity
is.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you join the two, you have fair idea.
Yeah. Yes, please.
And you know that being a student leader, you should, or you are in a position where people would look up to you.
Yes. Yes.
So when you do typing people's work is the same as doing their work for them.
Okay.
It's part of the work.
Okay. Yeah, it's part of the work.
So you do their work for them.
But it's not like I do their work for them.
No, but
it's a,
No, I just want you to. It is. You are not right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
just an assumption that I'm creating. So if I'm wrong, you just say I'm wrong. Do you get
it's
it?
a group work.
No, but you said people's work.
Yeah,
So indirectly, you are telling me that it's the work is for someone.
yeah, the work has already been done.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
know,
I'm doing the
typing. Do you agree that typing the work is part of the work? If you've been given an assignment and you write it in your jotter, when you type it, it's part of the work that you are doing.
Yeah, yes, please.
So indirectly, typing work is part of the work.
Yes, it's part
so
of
you
the
do
work.
people's work for them.
Okay, I will say I've done people
No,
work for them.
You do yes or no?
Yes, please.
You do people's work.
Yes, I do
for them.
people work for them.
Okay, I think it's not a good practice.
Okay.
So we wouldn't want the SRC, the who local, who SRC. We don't
Provincial
want you to.
secretary.
We don't want you to be doing people's work for them so that they hold you for academic fraud. Do you get it?
Yes,
Yes. You see, it's not nice. It's not nice.
But
at all.
please, what if the person's not having a laptop
So
or
you
something?
give the person the laptop and the person does the work. You see, you don't go and do the work for the person. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the last thing, and we'll look at it is, the last thing that we'll talk about is, you said, what are some of your skills? You didn't indicate it here, your competencies, so just mention some.
So the competencies type.
And I'll be cutting you when I get what I want. So don't let it seem like being on you. So when I get the answer, I'll just cut you so that I move on to the,
Okay.
because of time.
So as a secretary, you need to be sociable.
So you are sociable.
Yes, please.
What are your competencies? So not as a secretary, your personal competencies.
My personal competencies.
Yes, please.
I am sociable. I'm a good typist.
You're a good typist.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you do people's work for them. So what again?
Yeah, and also I'm a hardworking person.
What again?
I'm also time conscious.
Okay, so the skills relating to the secretarial job, what are some of them?
Yeah,
that
so you need to be a good you need to possess a good typing
typist
skill.
too. You know.
You need to be sociable
Okay.
and
Do you have good communicative skills?
good communicative skills.
You
yes,
have
please.
them.
Yes, please.
Both written and oral.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you have good
Communication skills.
both written.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the structure of a letter or even the structure of a document, right?
Yeah.
You know you have the introduction. Do you get it?
Yeah.
You have the body and you have the conclusion. And in the conclusion, you know you are not supposed to raise a new point. The conclusion, when you conclude, you have
Yes,
to
yeah.
summarize whatever you've discussed, right?
Yes.
Yes, but you see here, it makes our work difficult.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So with your policy document, you started it nicely by giving objective. Then you went to the policies. Then firstly you bolded it. You see, that's nice. But the conclusion, to conclude, introduction of course mentors is another policy, you see. That doesn't speak well of you. So if you are coming for a vet and even this one, is full of mistakes, then you are in another way telling us that you are not even competent. Or even if you are competent, you are not serious.
Yes.
You see, I'm not the one saying it, but it's what, do you agree with me?
Yeah. The work I did it in the policy. I think I typed 2. I think this is the second one. Professor Lydia Aziatu.
Did you understand my question well?
Said
I
it-
said, who was the first female vice chancellor in the Ghanaian universities? I'm not talking about UHAS.
Okay. Please, I'll.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll check.
Okay,
it out.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, you said in your CV, in the first, okay, they've asked so many questions about the CV, so let me just go straight to the point. You said you were the organizing secretary for Northern Students Union, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me your real duty, okay, your major duty that you played during that office?
Okay, so during my office as the organizer, Northern Students Union organizer, whenever it was, okay, I was responsible for arranging the place and then making sure that meeting starts on time. That was the role I played.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Come again.
I said I was responsible for arranging the place and then ensuring that the meeting starts on time.
Okay, so literally that means you are taking the work of the organizer.
Yeah, I was the organizing secretary.
Okay, okay, all right, okay. How are you able to work under pressure?
Under pressure, I seek for assistance.
Elaborate more on it.
Under pressure, if I have, if I'm working on something and then I know that the work is working for me, and then I'm also supposed to finish it at the same time, I engage other people to help me do parts, and I also do parts. After that, we combine it.
Okay, so my next question is, what are the members of the provincial executives?
They are the provincial president, the provincial secretary, the provincial treasurer, and then the women's commissioner.
Okay, so in case the president is not around, who is next?
The next person is the secretary,
Okay.
provincial secretary.
In your policy, the first one, I'm not, disencouraging you for putting this in your policy, but I think you cannot do anything about it. Do you know why?
No.
Because since I came to level 100, that has been the system. So Metro Mass went away and Ayololo came. Do you get it?
Yes.
And that thing has still been in existence. So how do you convince me that you have the quality to make a change?
Okay. When I say maybe the stress-free transport, or my quality, or my role that I think I can play in this is to reduce the number of students that are packed. Assuming maybe they are taking 5 times the number of students, 5 times the number of people that the bus is supposed to convey. My role or the change I seek to achieve is at least reduce it by 1. So maybe if they are taking like 5 times, maybe they will take 4 times the number of.
Okay, but you know the bus doesn't belong to you, right?
Yeah, it doesn't belong to me.
So it belongs to a company.
Yeah.
So they also buy fuel.
Yes, please.
Do you
I
get
know.
it? So the number of people they take in a bus, plus adding up to the money that they take per trip, they calculate it in relation to the fuel they buy, right? So do you think you can convince the car owner or the company, the CEO of the company, that please, I want you to reduce the number of students you take per trip? Do you think that is possible?
At least there will be a little change.
Well, I'm not convinced because there was a time they even took picture of the Metro Mass, the buses that we were using, the floor. I think it like, I hope you saw those pictures, yes. But we saw no change. Okay. I was willing to hear some particular quality that you think you have that could make that change. So please let me go to my next question. How would you establish positive public relations, okay, between the university and then the student?
It's in the SRC or university?
The university and then the student. I'm not talking about the SRC.
Okay.
So you are the provincial secretary, right?
Yes, please.
So secretary, you are secretary.
Yes.
You are in the school. Yes. So whether provincial or federal,
Yeah.
you are secretary. How do you establish positive public relations?
Positive public relations. I'll make sure that like in every gatherings that they have, I find myself in, and then I also try to encourage them to bring out their challenges, or they should feel free. I'll like that friendly relationship. Like I'll engage them. I'll go before them. Sometimes it's difficult for them to approach you, so I'll approach them through programs that they've organized. For instance, maybe hostel programs and other stuff. I'll pay them a visit and then.
Okay, someone has a question, so let's ask you that.
Yes. So, what is your true motivation for picking this form or this form? What is your true motivation?
Okay, what motivated me is it's actually not a motivation. I don't know. It was something that I observed, and I felt like I can also contribute to my quota. The way the message, the information, or the communication between the SRC and then the student body appears to be, inactive, even though they are trying their best. But I don't know.
Okay, you are in level 200,
Yeah.
and then you mentioned that you are a member of the welfare committee of UHAS NAMSA.
Sure.
So you don't plan on taking up any portfolio in your association?
For my association.
Yes.
Okay, I chose to buy for the SRC portfolio first.
Okay, meaning later you'd go.
Yeah,
Okay.
later if there's a need.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny Azuf Husseini, for coming around. Please, do you have any words for the? Okay.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you very much, Vice Chair, for the opportunity to ask my question. I must say I like your composure, Mr. Fuseni. I have just two questions. For you. I want to know briefly, what's the difference between a general secretary and a secretary general? Two, if you've heard of the Swot analysis, could you tell me something about it in relation to this portfolio you seek? Thank you.
Okay, welcome, sir. So the first, I'll answer the second question first. For the strength, weakness, the SWOT analysis, I believe my strength lies in my ability to type fast. I'm a good typist, and then I believe it's one thing that I can say is my strength. And then my weakness is trust. It's trust. Most of the times, you trust people, and then you give them a lot of work to do on your behalf. At the end, it does not turn out the way you want it to be. So it's very difficult for me to, trust people. So that's my weakness too. And then coming to the general secretary and then the secretary general. For that one, I don't think I can answer that.
I think your answer, you said your weakness is trust.
Yeah.
But when we were asked that under stress, what will you do
Yeah.
You said you let someone do the work, a portion for you,
Yeah.
then you add up.
Yeah.
But now your weakness is trust.
Sure. So, under stressful condition, I'll have no choice.
So kindly turn to the camera and
Okay. Oh, okay.
so kindly look to the camera and
Okay.
say some few words to the student populace watching you.
Okay, what I'm saying to the student populace is that I would like to seek their support and then their help, and then together I ask their support to help us make the SRC a better one. So thank you very much to everyone who is following us for this program.
Enjoy your evening.
Okay, thank you.
And Nadim, it's nice being here.
Daniel Opokudi,
Yes, sir.
please, why are you here this evening?
I'm here to be vetted for aspiring for whole provincial treasurer.
Okay. So, if I may ask, just give me 2, okay, leadership skills and experiences that you have that you think it qualifies you to be elected into this office.
Vision and then good interpersonal skills.
Come again.
Vision and good interpersonal skills.
So, what's your vision as a treasurer? Treasurer, right? Yes.
Yes.
For whole provincial, yes. What's your vision?
My 2 main visions, the number 1 is to collaborate with the other executives and then make students' life better. And number 2 is to help improve the whole provincial treasurer, whole provincial, the board, the executive.
How do you intend to promote the board?
By working effectively with them and then giving them the necessary ideas when, as time that they need it.
So, I would ask, why do you think it is important to have a treasurer?
It is important to have a treasurer because the treasurer is the one who is responsible for all financial issues. So having a treasurer is something that needs to be done.
Okay, so going into your policies, the number 5, you stated that you are going to help to get a separate bank account for the provincial SRC. How do you intend to do that? Do you know the processes involved to create a bank account?
Yes, sir.
For the SRC.
Okay, so before I came up with this policy, I read the Constitution, and according to the Constitution, Chapter 8, Article 58, Clause 12 says that at the first meeting, Chapter 8, Article 58, Clause 12. Okay, so it states that at the first parliamentary sitting, there should be an allocation of funds to the various campuses with general assemblies. And then the provincial executive, as part of our duties, we are to have a general assembly. So it means that there should be an allocation of funds. So these funds, it needs an account that this fund has to be in, because if we are saying that we are allocating something to you, it means we are giving that thing to you for you to carry out your duties. So it means that will bring the need of having an account that will hold those funds.
I think you've not answered my question.
Yes.
So what are the processes?
Okay. So the process in creating an account for an association within an institution, you will need a letter from the association. So in this case, I believe that the Dean of Students will be the one to give us that letter, and then we will take it to, let's say, for example, a bank like Ghana Commercial Bank. We will go there, and then they will take the signatories and then further up the process.
You will just get up and go to the Dean of Students that you want to create an account for whole provincial board, right? That's for the SRC. Generate a letter for you, then you send it to the bank.
No, it's not that.
That's not what you're saying.
No, sir.
Okay, so
it's getting a bank account for the province, for the provincial SRC provincial bank account. So that's why I started that. It started from the Constitution. The Constitution demands that there should be an allocated funds for us. So that funds, when it is allocated for us, it is necessary that we get an account to put that in. So that funds will be allocated during the first parliamentary sitting. So during the parliamentary sitting, all the parliamentarians will be aware that this is what is going to happen. We are going to give you a fund, this amount of money. So this amount then will further up to.
So does it mean that at the moment the whole province doesn't have any bank account?
Yes, please.
So in case they are being given money, okay, money is being allocated to them, where does the money go? Does it go to the individual's pocket or what?
It depends on the project that they are carrying out.
No. I want to know, since the whole province has been in existence for some time now, and the executives, okay, they've not bothered to open bank accounts or whatsoever. Where have they been keeping their monies? You said they don't have bank account.
Yes.
So where have they been keeping the money that you will come and then create the bank account for them?
Currently, to my best of knowledge, I can say really that they don't have any amount on them, like these funds were disbursed by the parliament or by the SRC, which are on them. So I don't have to.
So meaning they don't have any money, so they don't need any account.
They don't
Yes
have
or no?
any money. They don't need any account.
What I'm asking is,
Yeah.
you are saying that you come and create bank account for them, and my question is, so does it mean that at the moment they don't have any bank account?
Yes, they don't have.
They don't have.
Yes.
So where have they been keeping their monies?
And I'm saying that they don't have any money.
They don't have any money.
Yes.
But in your tenure, they will have money.
Yes.
How are you going to have money?
Okay, so upon consultation with my seniors, I realized that that fund that I'm talking about hasn't been allocated to them. That's why I'm saying they don't have money.
So how are you sure that the money will be allocated to you when you come into office?
Yes, it's in the constitution and we need to do the needful. So during that parliamentary.
Your seniors also know that that is in the constitution. So why are they not giving it to them? If it's in the constitution, they know
Yes.
that it is in the constitution.
Yes.
And the money has to be given to them.
Yes.
But here lies the case, you are saying that they don't have any money at all.
Yes.
So why do you think you can just have that money? Because it's written in the constitution.
It's in the constitution and it needs to be done.
So your seniors don't know that it's in the constitution, right?
I can't say that.
No. So are you trying to say they are incompetent?
I can't say that.
Okay. All right. My last question. Who was the first female vice chancellor in the Ghanaian University?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Okay. Daniel Opoku Jemfi.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Do you have the water now?
Water?
You were complaining that you wanted water.
No.
Oh, okay. I think they'll get you water.
Okay, no problem.
So kindly get him the water so that he feels at home. Okay. So while we are waiting for your water, can we continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. So who Provincial SRC treasurer, right?
Thank you very much. Yes.
Hopeful.
Yes, please.
Okay. So what is your source of authority?
Okay, so
As for the portfolio.
the source of authority is the constitution.
Constitution, right?
Yes, please.
Beautiful. So, where in the Constitution is it stated?
Chapter 4, Article 28. Chapter 4, Article 25 talks about the provincials, and then Chapter 4, Article 28 talk about the whole provincial treasurer.
Okay.
And it's
Okay. So, you are live. See, you are live. So, whatever you say, you need to make sure that, like, establish some credibility. How
yes,
can I say?
please.
Yeah, so let's move on to your fifth policy document. You made mention of the creating a bank account. Why do you think it's important to have a bank account, a separate bank account for the whole province?
Okay, so we will have projects that we have to undertake them, but per my consultation with my seniors, as I was saying, they
Where your seniors are?
okay, my seniors, as in I will mention the current executives.
So can you be specific? Because whatever you say, okay, whatever you say
Yeah.
is going on record.
Yes.
And it can be used as a reference.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
So I want you to state emphatically that, okay, according to this person, so that we know what we are dealing with. I hope you are getting it.
Okay. Okay, so I was in chat with Mr. Adam and then Mr. Peter.
His Excellency
His
Adam.
Excellency Adam Nana Kwame, and then Mr. Honorable Peter, and then when we were in the conversation, he made me realize that he had a project that he needed it to be done, but although it has been approved in Parliament, being passed, but the funds hasn't been released yet. So that gingered me to, further and then investigate about the constitution. I realized that there should be a fund that should be allocated. So, for example, in this scenario, it means that if they were to have that personal account.
Because of time, I'll be cutting you intermittently. I hope you are getting it when I get what I want, so that we can move faster.
Okay. Okay.
So, per that conversation, you projected that the whole provincial executive, okay, you don't receive money from the SRC.
They receive.
You stated that they don't.
They receive, but that project, they've not received the
So
money.
when you create the bank account,
Yeah.
it will facilitate the
Yes.
receival of the money.
By that time, the funds would have already been dispersed into that account. So if the Parliament have agreed on that,
No, so the main reason why you are choosing that policy to create the bank account is because the money wasn't disbursed in that situation.
I'm not emphatically.
So what is the main reason why you want to create the bank account? Is there a problem with having a centralized account system?
There are some deficits, as in delays. So having ours will facilitate things.
So when you have a separate account, that means you get your money faster.
Hopefully.
That is what you are saying.
Yes.
So with the other projects, aside that project that you said it has been delayed, is there another project that you think that you have been able to do and funds have been allocated to that?
Okay, we didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk about it. Okay, so what I want you to know is that creating a bank account, okay, doesn't necessarily mean that you would have money to put in them. Do you get it?
Okay.
The money that are being allocated to, we have some, have you heard of administrative budgets before?
Budgets, yes, please.
Administrative budget,
Budget.
not just budget.
Okay, yes, please.
Administrative budget.
Yes,
What
please.
is administrative budget?
So administrative budgets talk about the future plans of expenditures and then incomes of a certain organization administratively.
Okay, so we have the provincial who,
Yes.
okay, they have administrative budgets that they receive to facilitate their duties throughout a period of time. And they also have budgets that have been approved for a project. Do you get it? And as time goes on, all has been meted out. Do you get it? So the bank, creating a bank account is inconsequential to whether you receive your money or not. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You don't understand? No problem. Let's move on. So, talking about transparency in SRC transactions, how are you going to? Are you trying to say that there is no transparency? So, what are you going to do differently? How? The key word is, what are you going to do differently? So it means that whatever you are going to say, we would assume that the previous administration, if I say previous, that means the incumbent one, like the recent one, are not doing that. Do you understand? So the answers that you are going to give, it would stand to reason that the current administration are not doing that. So would you want to reframe the answer, or you would go with the flow? You reframe it. You reframe it. Okay. So we should scratch that out. Okay. So now reframe it. No, it's not to your best of knowledge. There's something, a practice going on. You would want to improve it. Then the layman understanding is if you want to improve something, you should know what is being done. The loopholes, then you improve that. Do you get it? The SRC's resources are scarce, so we can't just give it to somebody who will come and do try and error. We want somebody who knows what he's going to do. Do you get it? So what are you going to improve? So how are they being kept? Web, spider web. So the current treasurer is not having a digital storage system for keeping. Oh, what you are saying? So you are saying that they are. Okay, now let's two of the projects that have been done by the provincial. Two projects. In what sense? You don't have control over their finances. The Constitution didn't say that. Quote the again. Chapter 8, clause 12, 58. Each campus, should I read? Each campus of this university with a running General Assembly shall be entitled to a percentage of the funds from the Students' Fund as determined by the SRC Parliament in its first sitting.
Yes, please.
And your interpretation is that because of this, this part of the Constitution says that you should create a bank account.
They are entitled to receive
Yes.
that.
So my question is, aren't they receiving it?
No.
Oh, they are receiving it. I just made mention of the administrative budget that is being given. I also made mention of some of the projects that are being meted out. And they are doing it. So it's just one project that is being delayed because of some corrections that have been asked to be done on that. Did you get it? So if that is the case, then it means that the creation of the bank account is just a waste of resources.
No. When I read the Constitution, it didn't occur to me that, as in how the Constitution stated it, meant administrative budget.
No, it just said they're entitled to a percentage of the funds.
Yes.
Do you get it? Yes. So the percentage of the funds means that there should be money allocated to them, right?
Yes.
Yes, and the money is being allocated to them in the form of administrative budgets and other budgets that are being asked for Parliament, like being approved by Parliament, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't even ask the current executives about all these things.
About all these things.
Yes, about whether they receive the money or not.
I talked about that clause, and then I didn't.
No problem. No problem.
Welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
So let's still start with that. the question. Do you know the reason why the money has not been given to them?
No.
So why are you saying that the SRC is not giving the funds? That's why they're not able to carry out the project. Or let me ask the question again. Do you know why the money has not been given to them?
No.
So why are you then emphatically saying that they are not able to carry out the project because the SRC has not given the money to them? You are an account, right?
Pardon?
You are an account.
Yes.
And you know that you haven't got sushefa. Like you don't listen to part of something to give a judgment.
Okay.
You didn't find out what has actually, but because they said funds are not available, you concluded. Now, do you know the processes that go through in making or in bringing a project to fruition? So right now, you want the project to be done. What are the processes that go through? What project are you talking about that you said they've not received the funds?
The project they were...
Yes, they wanted to do that, they didn't receive the fund.
Pardon?
What project is it?
They wanted to do Lavis Bench.
Good. And tell me the processes that it went through, or it has gone through so far.
The process that has gone to the Parliament has approved it.
That's all.
Yes, so
this university, you think when the Parliament approves a project, that means automatically money should be given?
No.
So what other process should you go through?
Yeah, so I believe that the federal executives have to endorse it and then send it
the
to
federal executive are parliamentarians.
Yeah.
So when it's approved,
so it needs to be presented to the Dean of Students, and then
students,
it will be allocated to the necessary.
Do you have something called? Do you know you have a department called procurement in this school?
Yes.
And you make sure that everything that you do should follow the procurement guidelines. So did you ask them why the project has not come to fruition? So if procurement is not giving the go-ahead, is it because the SRC is not giving money to them?
No.
So why then are you coming to tell us here that emphatically that because it's in the constitution and because of the SRC is not giving money, you're going to create a bank account? Whilst the reason why the process is not going on, it's not because of the money. It's something else. So why is it that when they ask for administrative budget, it is given to them? But this project alone, it is not. Did you ask that question?
I didn't ask for administrative.
So then you're asking a question to come to a particular place and you just ask part which suits you and you are used as a policy. Okay. So still, you've not told me, you've not convinced me why it is necessary to have the funds. If it's allocated to you, it means whatever you want. And when it is, you bring to Parliament. Remember, you are reading the 58, clause 12, right?
Yes.
But remember, initially, you also have to bring budget to Parliament. The earlier one, let's start think. 58, the 2 and 3, but the 3, budget estimate shall be presented to the General Assembly. Then when you finish, you continue to say, all approved budget, continue with the approved budget, without prejudice to clause 1 of this article by Freedom President. Good. So, the budget, the first clause of it, talking about you presenting your estimate, your expenses to Parliament for approval. And when it is approved, then the percentage is agreed at clause 12 is entitled to you. You have to send your estimate to Parliament, isn't it?
Yes.
And when Parliament approves it, you are then entitled to it. A percentage,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Good. So if you are talking about entitlement, what percentage are you entitled to?
It was not stated in the
So it depends on what you are sending.
Yes.
So it means that that is not a problem. So far as there is funds, it will be disbursed, isn't it?
But yes, so the reason why I'm talking about the bank accounts is that for the meantime, for example, let's say the funds, that money that needs to be allocated to the provinces, when they are being allocated, so should we keep that money in the SRC account? What I'm saying is that we should have a separate account. That money that we receive will be stored there.
Now,
and they
last
will be
question.
accountable for it.
If the money is for a project, so like the Lovers Bench,
Yes.
the money is for a project. It means when the person finish the Lovers Bench, the person will be paid, isn't it?
Yes.
So paying the money from, is it wrong to pay the person who has done the work directly from the SRC account?
It's not wrong.
So then why is it necessary for us to create a separate bank account?
It's necessary because we have to.
You just want to have the cash with you, that you know that I have the cash. Is that what you want?
Yes, in the account.
In the account?
Yeah.
That is what you want, that
No.
now we have the cash with us. So far as the SRC has approved our budget, if the money is not in our account, it looks like we don't have the money. Until the money falls into our account, we don't have the money. Is that what you're saying?
All right. You are welcome, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So I think still on this creation of a separate account. What is the source of funding for the provincial SRC? As in the whole, where do you get your money from?
We get our money from the SRC.
The SRC.
Yes.
But you still want to get a separate account,
Yes.
a Momo account or a bank account?
A bank account.
A bank account.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how the SRC gets funding?
How they get their fund? To my best of knowledge, depending on the type of project that you want to carry out.
Do you know how the SRC gets funding?
Can you please reframe the question again?
Do you know how the SRC gets funding, or do you know how SRC gets money?
Yes.
How?
Students paying the SRC dues.
Student.
Paying the SRC dues.
Okay, so it's the same SRC that we are looking at, and
Yes.
then you want your quota. That is it.
Yes.
But you want it when you want to do project, not when. As in, you want it only when you want to do projects, right?
Not necessarily that.
So.
My,
So when?
yeah, to my best of knowledge in the Constitution, what I realize is that the more there is a certain percentage that needs to be allocated to the both campus at the first parliamentary sitting. So that we used to run our affairs.
Mr. Jimfi, your GPA is not bad, so why provincial treasurer and not federal treasurer?
Because I want to help improve the students' lives. And also improve the provincial.
And what happens to the federal?
The federal. I believe by then there will be people that are people's choice that will be there to also carry out their affairs.
No, I think maybe you don't get my question well. So my question is number one. It's not the issue of maybe your GPA.
Yeah.
So why are you not going for federal treasurer? And why are you going for provincial treasurer?
I'm going for provincial treasurer as in to raise the provincial, should I say?
So why not provincial president? If you want to work maybe the whole provincial, you want to build it up, then why not the provincial president rather? Because you are currently the founding president for your association, am I right?
Yes, please.
So why not president so that you can be able to build better?
So I believe that the treasurer, I can work effectively with my superiors.
What project has the current provincial treasurer done so far on his own or her own?
I've not heard of any.
What I'm trying to tell you is that as a provincial treasurer, it's not that you cannot work, but if you don't have project as a province to work to do, there is nothing. If that's how come you have not heard of any. you mentioned something about Laver's bench, right? And then it's like that, right? Okay. All right. So I think my last question. You're also there. Okay, you have only one batch, right? Your school.
Yeah.
You have only one batch. Am I right?
One.
Batch, as in terms of the year, the class.
Oh, we are two. Now we have level 100s.
Okay, but you are still the class president.
Yes.
And then you are still the president of the association.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. And you want to be provincial treasurer. Okay. And you can handle all of them.
Yes.
Okay. What are your strengths?
Okay, so my strengths include my ability to work effectively in a group. So having working effectively, collaboratively.
And your weaknesses?
My weakness, I'm always dying to see the best interest of students, to see students' lives being better.
Yes, so what are some of the assets of the SRC?
The assets, some are, okay, the SRC dues is our asset, and the SRC bus is our asset.
Are they done paying for it?
Okay.
Is the SRC done paying for the bus?
Oh, I don't have any evidence of that. So.
Okay. But you feel it's an asset?
Yes.
Okay, all right, what else?
Yes, I would say, and then the canteen at Hohoi.
Please, can you come again? Is that a canteen at Hohoi?
Yes.
It's what? It's an asset.
Yes, I would say so.
So what's your definition for the word asset?
Okay, so assets they are resources that you have that belongs to you, and then it can last for at least one accounting year. Can last for at least one accounting year.
One accounting year. So the canteen is the assets for the SRC.
Yes, I would say so.
Why is it an asset?
Because it belongs to them.
It belongs to who? The SRC.
Yes.
The canteen belongs to the SRC.
Yes.
Everyone's watching you. Okay, so the land on which the canteen is not for the SRC.
Okay.
The SRC helped to renovate the canteen, which was already in existence.
Oh, okay.
So we have the term SRC canteen. Do you get it? But it's not for the SRC.
Oh, nice.
I hope you are getting it. Yes, but it helped to renovate the place.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Okay.
So it's not for the SRC, and it doesn't generate any income if we would put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't go and say it anywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much.
Any more of that? So the question still stands. Aside the bus that you mentioned, so what other asset does the SRC have that you want to think? Let me be clear on the sentence that you. Just a minute, please. On the preservation of the SRC asset. Yes, so what are some of these things? You mentioned the bus. What else do you know?
I think that's all.
What do you plan on handing over as president of your association?
Oh. Okay. I think next year, God willing.
Next year?
Or we are.
No. I want a
okay,
definite.
I can't give you the
Oh, okay. So you can even hold it till you leave school.
Pardon?
So
No,
No, I'm just asking.
No.
Okay, because you can't tell. But what projects have you done in the last year? This is your second year, right?
Yes.
So what projects have you done since your inception?
Okay, so we actually started last semester, our student association.
Okay.
Okay, when the level 100s came. And then, so some of the projects we are planning on organizing free prosthetic hand fitting.
So you've not done anything yet?
We've organized a dinner last year, entertainment parts.
That was yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then we are, after, when we vacate, we'll be fitting free prosthetic hands to people.
Okay, that I mean what you've done so far. So
yes,
I believe that one is in the pipeline. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So all the best.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm doing well. You?
So I want to know in which way help SRC get money into their coffers as the whole provincial treasure.
So currently we've all realized that they've built halls for these universities. That's Asogli and the Sokodeho. And then one thing I realized that students, we don't have say a mini supermarket. So the SRC, it's a plan that I'm having that when I'm elected into power, I will push that innovation so that we will get a mini mall or a mini supermarket at those various halls.
Where?
When?
Where in the hall?
Where Asogli and...
Yes, I mean where at Asogli? Have you seen the way Asogli Hall is built?
Yeah.
Would it be in front? Would it be in the hall? Where? Yeah. Or the car park? How do you intend?
Asogli, I think behind, around where the new basket, the multi-purpose court is, around the area. I can see some lands there. So.
Do you know the processes involved in getting that approved?
So I think it has to pass through Parliament, and then if Parliament approves it, it goes to the Dean of Students. The Dean of Students will send it to the procurement and then lands. Those things.
Do you know who that piece of land is for?
No.
Because you've seen people around it, you think it's for the school. So when you want to build on it, they'll allow you to build on it.
Oh, it will depend when the time comes.
When the time comes?
Yes.
Okay. What challenges have you identified with the previous administration?
Challenges that I've identified, okay. So, challenges, my challenges somewhere, funding. We didn't have enough funding.
But I don't think you are part of that administration. So I'm asking you, what challenges did you identify with the current
sorry.
administration?
Okay.
What challenges have you seen? Or what are the problems you've seen that this current provincial SRC executives are facing or have faced?
I'll say the delay in disbursement of funds. That's the only thing
The delay in?
Please, I told you that the delay is not because of the disbursement. After SRC approved a project, the school, you're in the school, you're in the institution, you have to go to procurement to see whether the right processes are done.
Okay.
Until then, approval does not mean funds should be disbursed. So that's where they've got into. Not that they finished the whole process and the SRC is not giving them money. So please, don't repeat it again.
Okay. Okay, then I've not seen any.
So out of 10, you score them a perfect 10?
Out of 10?
Yes, you score them a perfect 10?
Yes.
So they've done everything they were supposed to do?
Since they don't have any negative issues, I would say.
Do you know that at every province there's a General Assembly?
Yes, please.
Have you seen the current administration hold a General Assembly meeting before?
No.
Why?
Maybe they have plans for that. We've not ended the semester, so I can't tell for them.
But the semester is almost ending. When do you think they will hold the G?
Oh, maybe it could be next week. No one knows.
Okay. Have you heard of junior common room?
Yes, please.
What are they?
They are. Should I say they are located to the university halls.
So currently we don't have junior common rooms, right?
Yes, please.
So in what way are you going to help us get junior common room representatives?
Okay, so with that one, when I'm into power, we'll take that one to parliament and then we'll know how to work things out, because currently I don't have any idea about it.
Okay. So last year or some years back, there was an issue with the president and the treasurer. It was all over the news. When he came in level 100.
Okay.
Yes, when he came in level 100, there was an issue. Okay. Did you hear of it?
Yes.
You heard of an issue between the federal treasurer and the federal
Yes.
president?
Yes.
If you were in that position, how would you have handled that matter?
That one. I can't. Should I say? I was there and then the message just came into my student's email and then I saw it. So since we are supposed, to me, if anything is supposed to come from, let's say, the SRC itself has to, let's say, release a communique that maybe this thing has happened, this thing has happened. So since I didn't see that, let's say, they've released something sort of, I thought it was.
You didn't bother?
Yeah, I didn't bother.
So you don't know what exactly happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sure. So I think the first question I had, Honorable Chairperson has addressed it. So, but then before I move on, just a comment. With your CV, right? When you prepare, it's a learning process. So it's not just question and then that's all. So usually when you prepare a CV, right? You want to present yourself, you are selling yourself out to someone or an institution. So I realized that's the first page, you have Times New Roman, that's fine. But then when we move on to the reference, you have a different font type. Do you get it? So it's a bit inconsistent. So moving forward, you may want to look at that, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
So moving on to my question, I think it's just one question, depending on how you would answer it. Just before the question, what is your constitutional mandated duty as Provincial Src Treasurer?
Okay, I'm supposed to manage effectively and efficiently the documents of transactions that will be made.
Okay.
And then also I'm supposed to take care of, give financial reports to my.
Sure, good. Can you mention about 3 of those documents, financial documents you made mention of in your first submission, your first answer? So you're supposed to keep track of financial documents, right? And I'm asking you to mention 3 of them. Any 3.
How to keep the documents?
No, just the documents. So for example, if maybe the document is maybe your transcript, so transcript, that's what I mean.
Okay, so documents, some will include budgets, budget documents.
That's one. I want 3, at least 3.
Okay, budgets. Transactions.
Okay, I'll take it. Last one. Okay, sure. Amongst the 2 you've mentioned, which one are you conversant with?
Conversant?
Like, it comes to you naturally. It's very common to you. Like, you know it's in and out.
Transaction.
If you ask you to develop one right, now you can do it like with such ease. Transactions. Okay, sure. What goes in preparing a transactional document?
Is the question again?
What goes in preparing? I wanted to make it easy for you, but they said you are choosing transactional document. That's fine. So as SRC Treasurer, if you're supposed to prepare a supposed transactional document, how would you just give me like the format of it? That's all.
Transaction.
Can I ask another question? Then we move on.
I think the budget would be nice.
Pardon?
I would say I think the budget, I can.
Now you're taking budget?
Yes, please.
Okay, then what are the components of a budget? Like, if you are supposed to develop a budget right now, just list the components.
Okay, so the budget actually has to contain three main elements. So the elements we have to include expenses. You have to include your incomes, and then you have to include the unplanned expenses or unplanned expenses.
Unplanned expenses.
Yeah.
So wait, let me get you right. You said budget. You would take out what? Expenses, unplanned expenses. What was the second one you mentioned?
Income.
Those are the only thing that goes to drawing a budget.
The three main, I would say the three main.
Okay, what are the non-main ones? Like, no, I just want to, you see, they've asked a lot of questions, constitution, a lot of things. Me, I want to be sure that if you should get the mandate to lead us in terms of being the SRC Provincial Treasurer, you have the skills to do this. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes,
because again, if you come in and don't know how to draw a budget, then you get my whole issue. That's why I'm just on that. So list the ones that are not main in quotes. That should be part of a budget. Just about 3.
Oh, okay. So your items, the thing. Let's say if you are going to buy things, the items.
Okay, sure. Go on.
Okay, items. Let's say. That's all.
Okay, let me just move on to my next question. Are you familiar with Microsoft Excel?
Yes, please.
Can you give me like one word description of the interface of Excel? When we say Excel, like what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
Excel. Home. The interface.
Yes, like just how does it look like? That's all.
Yeah, sales.
Sales. Great. So do you know how to use Excel?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to sum up a number of cells, right?
Okay.
From B3 to B26, right? But then I want to use the function of Excel to do it. I know Excel can do that. How? So maybe from B3 to B26, I want to add all the figures over there. How would I go about that?
So you select all of them, and then you go to at the home page. There is I forgot about there's a button there, like it works about calculations. So
at the home page.
Yes.
Did you say home page?
No home page there.
No, I didn't hear you. I wanted to verify. You said home page.
Yes.
Home page, sure. Okay, I think that's it for me.
Good evening, Mr. Daniel.
Good evening.
I'll be very brief. I mean, my colleagues have. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I have a very bad cold.
No problem.
My colleagues have asked almost every question. So, what's the difference between a financial secretary and a treasurer? Should I move on? I should move on. Okay. So, in your policies, you said creation of investments for the provincial SRC to help increase the income of the SRC. So let me ask, these investments, are they prone to risk of loss?
Yeah, all investments.
So what will you do when let's say you are elected into office and then you are able to put, let's say maybe you saw that Max International or Chimo is good for provincials, whole provincial SRC's coffers, and we'll get a lot of money. You pick all of our money, Parliament approves, and you send it to Chimo, and then Chimo collapses. What will you do?
Not those types of investments.
Okay, so let's say an investment that is prone to like when there is a loss, what will you do? That's what I'm asking. I just wanted it to be practical.
Okay, so when there is a loss, depending on the situation, if it's the Parliament will need an explanation, I believe there will be an explanation for it.
So when you lose our money, I say when you lose the SRC money, you serve them an explanation. to why you lost it, and that's all you do.
But the investment that I'm talking about, it will be very hard for loss to happen.
Really? Can you give an example? I'm interested.
Yeah, I was talking about having mini supermarkets at the various halls.
And you think that one is to be very hard to lose?
Yeah, depending
What if
on
there's a fire outbreak?
fire outbreak is a natural inconvenience.
So don't understand.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll ask you one question.
Okay.
Do you know the current Minister of Finance?
Honorable Ken Oporiata.
Recently, there was a communique from the minority to the governor of Bank of Ghana. Have you heard about it? And give me just 2 sentences that describe the whole file they sent to them.
I've not seen it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I have just one question for you. So you are the SRC executive. A student approaches you, in fact, the morning of an examination, and he tells you he's been prevented from writing exam, all because he hasn't paid fully his school fees. What would you do to mitigate that situation?
Okay, so at that instance, I will say that he will be late for waiting till the examination day before it's approaching us. Will be late. So maybe we can do something about it, but I'm not sure. At that instant, late. We will do our best, but personally, I believe that by then it would have been late.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Daniel. So kindly look to the camera over there
Okay.
and say a few words to the student body.
Okay. Thank you all very much for joining us wherever you are. What I want to say is that we need your support to get all whatever that I've said here happen. So do your best to provide us with your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. My name is Francis Yanube Doot, a level 300 medical laboratory science student and an aspirant for whole Provincial Src President. I'm a committed and hardworking person who focuses on capacity building programs for personal development. I've held a number of leadership positions. Few among them include the President of Northern Students Union UHAS chapter, a committee member for the Intelligence and Students Affairs Committee of UHAS Src, and currently serving as a finance committee member. And I'm also a leader in most of the youth organizations I'm part of. I'm motivated by the desire to make positive impact wherever I find myself. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Doot, right? Mr. Doot, right?
Yes, please.
Great. So I'll just want to zoom in a little bit into constitutional matters, right?
All right.
So first off, Provincial SRC President, are you part of Parliament?
Yes, please.
Great. How long, so per constitution, per UHAS SRC constitution, how long does it take for review of the constitution? Like, what's the time frame? Do you know it?
No, please.
Do you know the amendment processes involved in constitution amendment? Yes or no? Then we can.
I can't.
Sure.
Good.
Great. Next up, in terms of the running of the provincial SRC, like whole provincial SRC, where does the whole provincial SRC get its funds from?
It gets its funds from the SRC, that is from the federal.
Okay, so
yes.
If it gets from, can you just let me know the processes that goes on into
all right,
funds
so
that it gets?
Thank you, Honorable. So first, the province gets its funds from the SRC, and before it gets its funds, the province has to prepare a budget. In case they want to undertake any project, they have to prepare budget, and that budget has to be presented at GA. And when it is approved at GA, the budget is sent to the executive committee for approval. Then when it is approved at the executive committee, it is forwarded to the parliament for further approval. Then when it is then approved at parliament, then it goes to the Dean of Students for her to give her recommendations. Then from there it goes to the finance office and
what percentage of funds is allocated to whole provincial, like any provincial, like SRC, something? What percentage of funds?
The constitution of the UHAS SRC hasn't indicated a specific percentage of funds that are supposed to be located to the provinces.
Okay, sure. So before I hand over, I just want to touch on just like two very interesting policies that you have here.
All right.
First up, when we go to academic policies, points number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I read from your document. Advocate for a change of the repetition policy as stipulated in section 84, clause 8.21.2 of the UHAS handbook. And then you've quoted it. A student who fails to obtain the requisite pass in a core course after the supplementary examination shall be asked to repeat the academic year. First question before we move on. This is the current status quo, right? So what specific change are you looking out for? Is it that you are saying that in this case they should even be sacked? Or like, I just want to know the specific change. You only said advocate for change. So which change specifically?
Come back with your question again.
So this is the policy you said you want to change,
yes,
as stipulated in the handbook of the university, right?
Yes.
So you just said advocate for a change. A change can be anything.
Yes,
like, I mean, it can be this way or that way. So I just want to understand the change first before I move on to my second question.
Okay. So the change I'm talking about is to advocate such that the policy can be amended in that a student who happens to fail on second attempt, that is in a supplementary exams, will not be repeated, but rather will be given the chance to continue to write till he's able to make it in that paper. As students, we offer a number of courses. I'm a medical laboratory science student. This semester, I'm doing 11 courses. I've been able to pass in all my 10 courses just because I'm not able to pass in a particular course. On second attempt, then I should be repeated, having to undergo the stress I went through in the previous academic year, taking care of my provisions and other things. We believe this is not the best treatment, and the SRC can do something about it. That is why we are coming to advocate for that change.
Sure.
Thank
so
you.
When I cut you, it's not because like I'm cutting you. Maybe just because I've gotten what I wanted, which will enable me to ask the next question. Okay.
Thank you.
So just don't like pick offense in case I cut you.
Oh, I'm okay.
So with that being said, what are the processes, right, involved in making an amendment that is not, let me use like this word, not within the jurisprudence of the SRC, like handbook, right? It goes beyond SRC.
Yes,
so I just want to know the amendment process involved, and we can pick it up from there.
Okay, so the SRC will write a letter through the Dean of Students to the Academic Affairs of a Directorate. Then from there, it goes to the registrar, and it will be acted upon. A committee will be set to deliberate on that, and if there is a need, the SRC will be invited to come and explain to them why they think such a letter should be given the needed consideration.
Sure. Because of time, I'll just let it pass.
Okay.
I'm sure some of my honorable members would take that up, but I want to ask my other question before I can hand over. Yes, my time is almost up. Programs and project policies. So the first point, provision of lava benches on the PEM sites that were Trafalgar campuses to ensure that students have a place to relax during short breaks between lectures. Wonderful. What are the processes involved if the SRC wants to undertake this project that you have listed here?
All right, so thank you for the question. First, a budget has to be presented. That is, if it is coming from the province, as I have stipulated in my policy document, I will present the budget to the General Assembly for approval. When it is being approved, it is carried to the Executive Committee. I will present that same budget that has been approved by the General Assembly to the Executive Committee. And if it is approved at the Executive Committee level, then it goes to Parliament for approval.
Okay.
Then when it is approved at Parliament, meaning the student body have accepted it, then it goes to the Dean of Students for her to also give her approval. Then when that is being approved, then it goes to the Directors for Finance for funds to be made available for such a project to be undertaken.
Once Parliament is approved, Dean of Students has given a go-ahead, then it can kickstart, right? Like, I just want to, like, in simple terms, once Parliament has approved, right, per way you say Parliament has approved, Dean of Students has sort of maybe agreed to it.
Yes.
It can just kickstart.
Yes, so
right?
funds will be made available.
Sure.
Good.
So I think probably one last thing, probably my other colleagues will engage on it. One last thing before we move on. Warfare policies. First point, engaging security agencies. I'm not attacking you just in case. I just want to understand the feasibility of your policies. Yeah. So engaging security agencies to ensure that there are constant patrol around areas where students reside. Again, I'm looking at feasibility. Where I live, I don't even know if it's that very good, but I live like kind of close to the barracks, but when using Godopi stretch, right? Quite a number of students live in my jurisdiction, very far, sort of very far. I just want to understand the feasibility. Does it look like we will get security personnel coming as far as where I live to monitor that area? I just want to understand.
So there will be a consideration to that, but before I talk, thank you very much for the question. So the consideration, we are going to look at areas. There are certain areas that we have majority of the students residing. And those areas too, there are other areas that we have few of the students residing. And since we are going to, this is going to be more or less an external affair, which we are going to liaise with the security agency to ensure that they render such a help to us. But then before we even go into that policy, yes, the feasibility of it might seem questionable. But then, if I'm given the opportunity, to serve as the SRC president for the province, yes, I'm working at initiating a program that is, we will try to render our services to the security agencies in whole, such that when we seek for something, when we also seek for something, then they will be willing to make available our demand or our whatever we seek for. I don't know if my good. Thank you very much.
So I have
Mauli.
some questions for you. You served as the member. Okay, you are currently serving as a member of the Federal Finance Committee of the SRC.
Yes, please.
And then you wrote that you scrutinized and approved budgets for the commencement of projects on campus. Am I right? That is what you wrote, that you were able to scrutinize and approve budgets for the commencement of projects on campus.
Yes, we scrutinize budgets for.
Okay, so did you scrutinize the NUC's budget for the dinner and awards night?
Yes, a budget was presented to the committee, which we scrutinize and give our recommendations to them.
And how did you approve that very budget? The scrutiny, and then you gave recommendations.
Yes.
I believe your recommendation paper, and then they are maybe after writing again, they didn't pass. When you served in this, as in during this time, what did you do about this very issue? Why are you now coming after a year to solve the issue now? I think after 2 years, let me put it that way.
Yes, please.
Yes, so what did you do? You've been in the SRC Parliament for 2 years. What have you done about this particular issue?
So, serving under the Student Intelligence and Students Affairs Committee, I was a member under it, and it was one of the key things we advocated for as a committee. But then the gravity to which the issue needed to be handled with, it didn't get that gravity, and that is why I'm coming again as an aspirant this time with this policy, hoping that when I get the mandate, I'll be in the best position to, as SLC president for my campus, to advocate for that change.
This was during Honorable Norman's administration.
No, Apollo-led administration.
Yes. This was one major policy that he brought on board. Am I right? He brought on board as an aspirant, and then even when he was voted into power as a president. Am I right?
No, please.
Okay. So if around this time you mentioned that a federal SRC president had such a policy, and then you want to say something?
Yes, sorry for interrupting. Okay. Just to clarify things, that wasn't a major policy.
It was part of his educational policy.
Good.
So, what I mean is that it was a federal president that brought it on board, as in it was part of his policy. So when you are saying now that it did not get the gravity that it should have gotten, as in like maybe the push that it should have gotten, and it came from a federal side, and now this is a province, for you to get things done with the processes of even starting right from your own General Assembly as a province, now push after scrutiny and approval, you now send it to the Executive Committee. They also do their work with you, and now send it to Parliament. It looks like it's not a lengthy thing.
So, well, it depends on as I mentioned earlier on, the gravity attached to the push. I can't remember that being one of his educational policies, but then it was something we were working at as a committee, because when you look at the core mandate of the Intelligence and Students Affairs Committees in the Constitution, stipulated in the Constitution, is to debate on matters concerning the welfare of students.
So the welfare of students, one was, I remember in this very administration, the dues was increased by a very beautiful 100%. So you were here. So you debated on that issue, I believe. If not as a committee member, maybe in parliament, you join this debate and the approval of it as well.
And
So the welfare of students here, I don't see it being catered for, especially in that time or in that year when you worked as a member of that committee.
So, thank you very much for the question. Just to clarify things, I was just a member of that committee. I wasn't a parliamentarian. And budgets or whatever has to be, budgets are approved at parliament.
Are you
so
saying
at that point, I wasn't having the voting right to contribute.
Are you saying it was not, you did not debate on the matter, that very matter, on a committee level?
Yes, please.
You did not debate on it?
We didn't debate on that.
Okay,
yes,
all right. So you worked again as a judicial committee member for your association, MELSA.
Yes, please.
The first thing is introduce MELSA Personality of the Week. How is that a work of a judicial committee?
Yes, so it was something that we took upon ourselves. One, it was the committee is judicial and disciplinary committee. So one of our core mandate or the constitutional mandate of that committee is to ensure the professional conduct of students in the association. So we took it upon ourselves that in order to improve the professional conduct of students, then let's bring up these initiatives. First, every student will be willing, or every student will try going extra mile of being a student personality of the week. That is, they will try to dress appropriately, and these were the criteria we used to evaluate the personality of the week. Your dressing, your attendance to lectures, and your general behavior to the student populace as far as the association is concerned. So we believe that that was a better way to help improve their discipline level at a different angle.
Okay, and then you mentioned that you settled dispute among members.
Yes, please.
How many disputes were you able to settle?
As far as I'm concerned, we settled about 2 disputes.
Are you sure?
Yes, Honorable.
Okay, all right. So your policy, you said the first one, revitalizing the GA as the sole decision-making body of the SRC. Are you talking about the province or you are talking about the federal?
Yes, of the province.
Of the province?
Yes, please.
So, please, I think. Then how do you intend to do this one?
Yes, so the Constitution stipulated that the General Assembly must meet at least once every month. And the General Assembly is the sole decision body of every campus. So, per my knowledge, His Excellency Adum, even in one of my engagements with him, he told me that he hasn't been able to organize General Assembly meeting due to 1 or 2 reasons.
What reasons are those in the first place? What reasons are those?
Okay, so one of the reasons he gave me was, he believed that at the end of the day, when decisions that are taken at the General Assembly are again subjected to the Parliament for approval. Another thing he mentioned of was allocation of funds, because before a General Assembly meeting is held, there has to be funds allocated to cater for the refreshment and the sitting allowances of the members of the General Assembly, which wasn't made available. So those were the 2 reasons he gave to me.
So does this not send us back to the issue where even as provincial, you cannot really deal with the thing you are talking about, working on the academic status of students? Does it not? It still doesn't cater for it, does it? Because if this is still the status quo in terms of how the province runs, you have to, even after agreeing as province that this is what we want to do, you still need to push it to executives, you have to push it to parliament and everything. How do you intend to revitalize the GA? And now just revitalizing it is just maybe bringing your people back. It has not solved any issue in terms of anything around the province level. I hope you understand. So how do you intend to do this one?
Please come with your question again.
So the question is that you said you want to revitalize the General Assembly of the province to make it the sole decision-making body of the SRC, as in that is the province, right? And then you established that before anything can be done by the province, first you have to have a GA meeting where you mentioned that even allocation of funds has been a problem, that has been a challenge, even for just a sitting. Then that is number one. If that is the case, then the processes in getting the thing approved. You mentioned that you even need to, the last place you have to get to is the dean. Before you get to the dean, you have to go through about 3 different channels, if I'm not wrong, because the General Assembly, Executive, Parliament, right? Then they have to approve it. So if you go all around and they don't approve it, that is the end of your journey. Means that maybe time wasted. Is that the case? So how do you intend to make your GA the sole decision-making body of the province? Because it is the constitution. It's not. It cannot be the sole decision-making body of, according to constitution. If I'm not wrong.
I think you are wrong when it comes to the constitution.
Fine. So, but that was why I gave you the opportunity, and you mentioned that the first after your decision-making as a GA, you have to send it to the executive committee, executive board. Then they now look at it, whether or not they want it or whatever they decide, then they send it to parliament. That's it, right? Yes. So meaning that decision making does not end with you. Do you get me?
Yes, please.
So how do you intend to do this? As you said, revitalizing the GA. Yes. So how do you want to do this one? How are you going to do it?
Okay, so we'll bring it to light through determination. And I believe once it is captured in the Constitution and SLC, we don't operate as an abstract body. That is why the Constitution is there to guide us in our operation. So we ensure that we push to ensure that funds are made available, since it is a constitutional requirement that the General Assembly meeting should be organized at least once a month. And we can't also underrate that because the student populace is part of the General Assembly. And SRC deals with matters concerning students, the welfare and interests of students. So if then we are trying to neglect General Assembly, then are we saying that the student populace are not part of the SRC?
Have you raised this concern in Parliament before? Because you are a student of WHO, and yes, I believe that one way or the other, being a General Assembly member, you are free to attend a General Assembly meeting.
Yes, please.
So it affects you. You are in Parliament for 2 years now. Have you raised it in Parliament before?
Yes, my presence in Parliament, I'm always there as an observer. I don't have any right to make submissions to whatever goes on in Parliament, unless I am being backed by, I think we have quite a number of parliamentarians here, if I'm not wrong, unless I'm being backed by 2 parliamentarians before I can make my submission.
I think the honorable member wants to.
Have you tried making it and you didn't get 2 parliamentarians to support you?
So I've not tried that. But then there is a need, because I have observed in the current administration that since they took over, they have not been able to organize a GA meeting. But then during the time of Honorable Adams Fatal, yes, so I attended about 3 GA meetings. So that's why I actually didn't see the need to put up that concern to Parliament. And when the current administration took over, I think they had I can't best tell, I'm not so certain, but due to inconveniences, in-person parliamentary meeting, it's only once I've observed. So, and I didn't get a platform. I didn't request for the platform to make my submission.
Okay. All right. So, health and sanitation policy, the last one. Cleaners are employed to keep the hostel surrounding neat and tidy. I don't understand. Are you saying you want to employ cleaners, or you are just telling us that they are already cleaners? What exactly is the communication?
Okay, so we are going to advocate such that cleaners will be employed. I mean, more cleaners will be employed at the hostel level.
More cleaners.
Yes.
But
So
it's not here as more cleaners.
Sorry, that's.
And then it's not here that you even employ cleaners. It says cleaners are employed to keep the hostel surrounding neat and tidy. This is what we know cleaners are supposed to do. We are already aware.
I think there is a heading to that. I think liaising with the hostel president, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Please, this under health and sanitation
it's
policies.
Under health and sanitation. Good.
Collaborating with the hostel.
Good.
Okay, so the second point.
Second point. Yes.
The cleaners are employed to keep. Yes, so you said more cleaners, right?
Yes, please.
So the ones that are around, they are not sufficient.
Yes, so I was fortunate to be part of the team that embarked on the presidential tour last semester, and the issues that were raised by residents of the various hostels we visited were some of these things. And per my knowledge and the investigations I've made, I've been in touch with the hostel president. When you get to the Fiat like this, it's only one cleaner that is currently working at the Fiat. And such a cleaner is not able to cater or take care of the sanitation needs of that hostel. So hence the need for us to advocate for.
I'm not cutting you, Honorable, but when was the last time you went to the Fiat?
I think last week I was there.
Last week?
Yes, please.
And the place was very bad. The sanitation of the place was really bad.
Yeah, when I'm talking of sanitation, the washrooms, you know, when you get to the Fiat, there are washrooms like, should I say, general washrooms aside the ones that are found in the rooms. And those washrooms are supposed to be cleaned by the cleaners. Then outside to the sanitation, the littering and other stuff are supposed to be done by the cleaners. Yes, I was even a resident of the Fiat when I was in level 100. And I can attest to the fact that most of the times those places were so filthy. And it was only one woman I used to see around, which I believe the work is so, is so huge for one person to
Honorable,
work on
I
that.
beg to disagree with you on this one. We're in the same hostel in the
Yes,
same
please.
year.
Yes, please.
And then the truth is that it's not the issue of the cleaners. This thing has to be made known very well, that students can cook and then pour the I don't know even how to put it, but pour things into the WC water closet anyhow. They can just do anything. Someone can leave their room with food and come and pour it into the water, the general water closet on the floors. And I don't think that this is an issue. This is an issue of a cleaner thing. It's just us students who have refused to be disciplined.
Right. Thank you very much, Honorable. But then I think that is a problem I have been able to.
And as a follow-up,
okay.
Are you conversant with the student handbook? Are you conversant with the student handbook?
Please come again. I'm not getting the last.
Are you conversant with the student handbook?
Handbook.
Yes.
Yes, please, but okay. Not entirely. I don't have it offered.
Okay. When you came to level 100,
yes, please.
Were you served a tenancy agreement, something, and the hostel?
Yes, I remember.
Did you see the portion where it charged students to take cleanliness of the place personal?
Yes, please.
Especially the washroom, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So having those precedents, are you still of the notion that it's the cleaners that are supposed to clean the place?
Yes.
So
that
you are
agreement.
implying that the bathhouse, do you get it? And the sinks of the place, the cleaners are supposed to come and tidy up the place.
Honorable, I think you are not getting me right, because if you have been to the Fiat, you would realize that aside the bathhouses we have in the various rooms, there is a general bathrooms outside. Those outside are supposed to be taken by the, the cleaners, or that is what I have been seeing the cleaners do. And per my investigation, my interaction with the students.
Please, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Is it the cleaners that use the place or the students?
It's the students that use it.
So it's a student facility?
Yes, please.
And in the hostel agreement form, or even the hostel form that you were given to sign, it places the student facility as part of the hostel, right?
Yes, please.
and is subjected to students to clean the place. Do you agree with me, yes or no?
Well,
You see, you told me, you just told the panel that the SRC is not an abstract institution.
Yes, please.
We follow bylaws and constitutions and things. Do you get it? So
Yes.
if you're a student leader, the source of your authority is this.
Yes, please.
So if you follow the hearsay of what students do or what students say, and you don't follow what is written down, then you may be found wanting.
Exactly.
So I just want you to clarify, because everyone is watching. I hope you're getting it.
Yes, please.
Yes, and it wouldn't look nice for you to mislead the entire student body. Do you get it?
Yes,
and create a notion that is not their work. Do you get it? So I want to ask, are you still sure that is the what do you call it? The cleaners who are supposed to do that, or it's part of what has been assigned to the student to take charge of?
So when it comes to that, I'm not going to answer yes or no to that question, because those washrooms are not attached to any room. And here is the case, the students there, you can't say, maybe we have not, or the leadership of the hostel.
The student, do they use the place?
Yes, they use
They
it
use the
sometimes.
place.
Yes.
So it means that students use the place.
Yes, please.
So if you use the facility, aren't you having a moral right or
That is very true. That
cater
is very
for
true.
the-
I agree to that, Honorable. And to cut it short, the students also have a role to play in that.
So-
But then the policy is not so emphatic about only the inside. But then we also spoke of the general sanitation in the hostel, and that involves the surroundings of the hostel.
That part, so that the students wouldn't put it in their mind that you are coming to employ workers for them, so that they relax and dirty up the place. I hope you are getting
Yes,
it.
that's
so
right.
I want you to retract that.
So
And I think before you actually do, I would actually love if you do the entire portion, as in even talking about the general police. Who litters the environment? It still comes back to us, the student. You get it? It still comes back to us. When you go to the Fiat, there are about at least 7+ different bins that are placed there for students to put their rubbish inside. So if you go to the Fiat and the bins are there, it's not they are not there, they are there. And then you see the place littered. I'm not sure the woman woke up and then decided to pour it out. I don't know if you get me.
That is very true, Honorable.
Yeah. So I'm saying that if you are retracting, then you do all at once. It will be very good.
That is very true, Honorable. But then we can't also dispute the fact that despite we knowing what we are supposed to do, but then some people will definitely go contrary to that. So per what you are saying, if I'm going to retract, that would mean that there is no need for the various hostels to even get cleaners on board. The question will now come, what then is the essence of the cleaners at the various hostels if students who uses those facilities, litters those environment, are expected to do those works?
No, but I still disagree with you on that one. It's not, that is not the...
Yes, we disagree to agree.
Yes, sure, but that is not the case, because we believe that these individuals have been employed for a purpose.
Yes, please.
But we cannot continue making their work very difficult. That is what I want to tell you.
So what I'm here to say is I'm not in any way supporting the habit of students, that is to continue littering the place or not taking good care of the place. But I'm only here to say that, yes, we have also realized that there is workload on the cleaners there, which results in the sanitation at the hostels. So we believe that when we advocate for at least 2 cleaners each at the various hostels, they'll be able to take care of the sanitation requirements, the sanitation needs of each hostel, and those burdens will be. Even as we are advocating for that, we also encourage our students to adhere to the sanitation things and the requirements, what they are required to do. As health students, we also encourage them to, have a healthy lifestyle. Do you get it? So,
So
we are not
with
here
the programs and projects policies, the point 2.
Okay.
The liaison with private companies to install Wi-Fi to the hostels to enhance easy access to internet. Which hostels are you looking at in the first place, please?
So the hostels are targeted at the Fiat Hostel, Jinfuga. Alexei have already had their take in that. And
who has provided that for them?
yeah, so Alexei liaised with a private company, Blue Town. Yes, so I personally spoke with the managing director of that company. Okay, a director in that company, a personnel in that company about that, and he has briefed me a whole lot about it. And I've also been in engagement with His Excellency Nathaniel, the hall president of Alexei. So, and their initiative is something good, which I think when we also bring it or introduce it in the various hostels, it will help the various students to.
Do you know how Blue Town works? Do you know how it works?
Oh yes, when I know how it works.
You know how it works.
Please.
So you understand that students are still the ones supposed to be buying their own data.
Yes,
so it's the same as using the 5 gig every month or getting your personal data.
The Wi-Fi network and the phone network are not the same.
No.
The 5 gig we get.
Okay.
The 5 gig we get, some of us are not even able to use it because of the connectivity at our areas where we stay. But the Wi-Fi will be situated at a place that the network coverage will be okay for every student. And once you purchase it, wherever you are, irrespective of your phone network, you are able to get a good network.
Have you used the Wi-Fi at Dave before?
Yes, I've used it before.
How good is it?
Oh yeah.
Are you aware it's a Wi-Fi?
Yes, I'm aware it's a Wi-Fi.
How good is it?
Yeah. If I'm going to rate it, I'll say 60%. Not all the time it's.
So you understand that
yes.
No matter what you are using, definitely there are loopholes.
Yes, yes.
So it's not the issue of Wi-Fi. So I'm saying that if I'll still need to buy data, then I'll just buy. There are offers that Vodafone provides that are equal to Blue Town. So why not just maybe go with that one?
So this is a policy we are bringing on board, and before it is being implemented, the residents of those hostels will have to buy into it. This is what we want to do for your hostel. Are you willing? Before such policy was implemented at Alexei, they came into agreement. It's not every student at Alexei who is on that Wi-Fi policy. Those that agree to that, they purchase it and they are okay.
Is quite public. You can just register and then.
I think Blue Town and their Wi-Fi operations are different. And
No. I use Blue Town. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
So it's not anything difficult that you have to actually go and then tender in an official agreement to sign. Just register online. They give you, you register with your passcode. So at any point in time that you buy data, it's still the same process of buying data. You buy data, you're able, when you get to a place that you can access their network, you use it. That is how Blue Town works. So yes, my last question. Collaboration with the sports committee. So that's sport and entertainment here. My last, yes. To ensure that talented sportsmen are identified during Windsor and Hall Week games and recruited into the sports teams. How many Windsor games have you been to personally?
I've been to 2 Windsor games.
Which?
That was the freshest, our time, 2019.
How many? Yes, so that's where my question comes to. How many students were at that? You did it, it was at the stadium, right?
Yes, please.
How many students were there? Those were the freshest.
Oh yes, there were many students because people even came from Hohoi.
Honorable, it was only the Hohoi people that came. There were not many. The number was not encouraging.
So, please, I agree to that.
So why did you?
No, I agree to disagree because when we say there were no many students, meaning games didn't take place because the games were organized among the various schools and we had people to, take part in those games. So there were people, students who showed interest.
Honorable,
participated in the
even
games.
last year.
Yes, please.
As in the just ended, the freshest game or the Windsor games. People had to come from NTC here to play with one of the NAMSA teams so that it would look like the team was not abandoned. So the participation is poor. Do you get it? So it's no longer going to be a question. Maybe to suggest to you just.
All right.
I think what you should be looking at is getting the people on board, getting them to actually come and then join. Participation is what we don't have on campus. Like as in terms of the UHAS community, participation is what we don't have. So maybe you should look at ways just in case you pass the vetting and then you are voted into power. Yes, I would say you look at that. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Honorable.
Hey, let's start, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, my first question is, I've seen your policies,
All right.
and they are quite lengthy. So my question is, where do your authority come from as a provincial president?
It comes from the federal SRC president.
So your authority comes from the
Federal
SRC president. So
yes.
when we are going to engage people based on the policy, you say that I can't engage the federal SRC president.
No, please.
But that's what you just said.
Yes, constitutionally, the authority comes from. We do things as, should I say?
You know, let's fast track.
Okay.
So it doesn't come from the federal SRC president. It comes from the constitution. Do you get it?
Yes, please.
So your authority as a provincial president comes from the provisions in the constitution.
Yes, please.
Very good. So do you know where such provisions are made?
Yes, please.
So
I think found in chapter 4, article 23 also, the constitution. Chapter 4, article 23. I'm not so certain on the.
So
yes, yes.
You have a fair idea of where it is. Right?
Yes, yes, please.
So you don't know, but I have a fair idea of where it is.
Article 4, chapter 4, article 23.
It's not in 23.
Okay.
It's not in 23.
It's not in 23.
So
okay.
let's assume you have a fair idea, but you don't know.
Yes, please.
You don't know.
Yes, please.
Very good. So now you don't know. I'm putting it to you that all what you have stated here, that is not a function. That is not the function of the provincial exercise.
I
just, excuse me, you are just being visible. This is not the work of the provincial exercise president.
I disagree to that, Honorable, because as one of the functions or the duties, the constitutional mandate of the provincial SRC president is to be the spokesperson for his or her campus. Yes.
Do you know what spokesperson means?
Yes, please.
If you are a spokesperson, what does it mean?
You are supposed to speak in the interest or to serve, to represent your campus.
Please be specific. What is the work of a spokesperson? Who is a spokesperson?
A spokesperson is someone who leads.
We are live, okay.
Yes, please.
And in as much as we are, there's nothing like right or wrong.
Yes,
in
please.
As much as we are answering the question, you are proving your credibility to the people.
Yes, please.
And your knowledgeability.
Yes.
That you know what you are talking about.
Yes, please.
Do you get it?
Yes,
a man
please.
of your standing.
Yes,
I
please.
don't want you to shoot yourself in the leg.
Yes, please.
Or in the foot. I hope you are getting it. By saying things that later you would go and apologize for. So, who is a spokesperson?
So, I'll answer that question citing an example.
No, who is a spokesperson?
A spokesperson is someone who speaks on behalf of a group of people.
Perfect. Let's end it there. So, your work is to speak. But here lies the case. You are talking about...
and there is also other constitutional mandates to that.
No, you see, I asked you. I believe that it's a fair process that we are doing.
Yes, please.
So I asked you a question, then you gave me the answer.
Yes,
and
please.
based on your answer, I'm doing a follow-up.
All right, thank you.
I hope you are getting
Yes,
it.
thank you.
So the main work of the SRC president is to speak.
Yes, please.
Do you get it?
Yes, please.
That's what you said.
Yes, please.
So if that is your work, then why have you left the work and you are now telling me that you are going to provide Wi-Fi, you are going to repair electrical appliances in the hostel, you are going to what do you say? You are going to employ cleaners to tidy up the hostel. You are going to get labor's bench. You are going to finish basketball court.
Okay, so thank you, Honorable. I think you are only cutting a portion of it. Reading it from here,
No,
they,
I understand you. You've provided that, but I'm asking that if...
and I'll be happy if you can follow how it is being kept here to prevent the student populace from getting it wrong, because it started from somewhere.
You see,
and
my question is...
Yes, please.
You have a core mandate.
Yes, please.
I don't refute the part that there are some parts in your policies
Yes, please.
that fulfill the core mandate.
Yes, please.
And you've done well for that. But the part that doesn't fulfill the core mandate, that is what I'm asking.
Okay, what you've just outlined, I wouldn't say it doesn't fulfill the core mandate, because these are challenges that are being faced by students.
So my question is, are you to do it or to speak for it?
We are going to speak for it.
And you spoke, but...
I said collaborating with the hostel president to ensure that...
So is it that I don't understand English? Or
No, I get you, Honorable. Let's not go.
Yes. So your work is to advocate.
Yes,
to
please.
Speak.
Yes, please.
But you indicated that you are going to do it. And you let me move that aside. With the health and sanitation policy, don't you think that you are interfering with the work of the Welfare and Sanitation Committee?
Yes, so I don't think so, Honorable, because the SRC operates as a body a body that is being constituted by committees. And as the president, these are policies that I'm bringing on board, and these policies will equally be given or made available to the various committees, because the committees are going to be appointed.
I'm not cutting you.
Yes, please.
Standing on the statement that Mr. Nathan made, or PhD, yes, Nathan made. When you say something and you're on track,
yes,
because of our time, I want to cut you.
All right.
So when I do that, it doesn't mean that I am being hard on you.
I understand.
Yes. So you are trying to tell me that the policies that you are bringing is the same thing that the committees will be doing.
Yes, please.
So then why are you worrying us with it at the first place? Because whether you come or not, the committees are standing, there are committees that are there, and they'll be doing it with or without you. So the policies are, what are you bringing on board? Not that you are going to, then you must as well bring the SRC constitution and come and read us all the policies that are, all the activities that are performed by the committees.
So to respond to that, Honorable, the committees are standing committees, yes, and there are some of the things the committee, as I said, the SRC president is supposed to be the spokesperson. The committee chairpersons are appointed by the president, that is at the federal level. At the provincial level, we appoint the committee heads. These committee heads might have not known of the existing challenges being faced by the student body.
So you are trying to tell me that you appoint, let's assume you are the president, you appoint incompetent people who are not competent, because you are telling me that they wouldn't know about the challenges facing the students. So you are going to appoint people who don't know about the challenges.
No,
then
please.
You are going to give them what to do.
That is not what I mean. But then I'm going to appoint these people and tell them that these were some of the policies I have. So they will be working.
The criteria for appointing,
yes, please,
means that those people need to be, if you read the constitution, there's a portion that talks about negligence and knowing what you are supposed to do. And it's looking at it, can you help me out with that part? Removal of office. It talks about you knowing, and negligence of your duty is a grounds for removal. Very good. It's a grounds for removal. So meaning that for you to appoint somebody, the person has to know what he's going to do. So if you come here and tell me that the person you appoint might not know, then it means that you yourself, you are not in good standing to even appoint at the first place.
So thank you very much for that submission and question. Yes, I have something to bring on board, a response to that. Because all the policies that are being brought forth, there are committees to handle or to take care of those policies. So per what you are saying, Honorable, are you telling me that there is no need for an aspirant to bring out policies just because we have standing committees that are available to
Yes,
take.
I'm saying that don't waste our time by bringing policies that committees are going to do. Bring policies that are your office bound, policies that your office is supposed to do, so that you don't come here and waste our time by bringing policies that people are having the mandate to already work on. So something like the sports and entertainment, we have the sports committee that will be doing that. I hope you are getting it. The Weasel games and all those things, even SRC games, sports committee does that. So if you are telling me that you will strengthen the sports committee, not even strengthen, but you provide assistance to the sports committee to do that, it's fine. But if you include it, and that is not even your work, because the committees are there, and the parliament is there to help them discharge their duties. So your work as a parliamentarian may even chip in over there. But bringing it as your policies, where committee heads are there to work on this, I think we are wasting our time. Don't you think so?
I don't actually think.
If you don't think so, fine.
Yes.
Looking at your programs and projects, we have programs and projects committees, and they are supposed to work on everything like that. They are supposed to work on the same thing. Programs and projects, they are supposed to do that. So indirectly, they are taking their work from them.
I don't think that way, Honorable, because as SRC president, one of the duties is to see provincial SRC president. You are to see to the day-to-day affairs of the province.
So why don't you write programs and projects? I will see to the day-to-day affairs of the committees.
That is why I've also decided to categorize it under the programs and projects, meaning that these policies will be handled by these people.
So if it will be handled by them, why don't you just write a sentence that I would make sure that all the committees or I'll provide assistance. You wrote something which is beautifully well, that you would administrative assistance to various associations on the whole province, and that caters for everything. So if you come and present this as your policy statement, I think you've left your main work. Don't you agree with me?
I don't agree with that because
Okay,
I believe it's not every...
No, before any other agreement, please, I would like you to take some water and then cool down a little for me. One thing you need to know is that the Honorable there is, I believe you know that he is the provincial president too. He's not talking from a vetting panel maybe side that you want to just scrutinize you or stress you a little, but he's talking as someone who knows the work or who is into the work. He has not handed over yet too. He's still there. I hope you understand. Yeah, but you drink the water. That's why I took the microphone.
When I need it, I'll take it.
Can we continue? I have
yes, Honorable.
To make.
Yes, please.
About the Wi-Fi, you said you are going to work on it. About the Wi-Fi, have you made any attempt to look at the structure? Have you made attempt to look at the line of sight, whether those hostels have line of sight?
Yes, I've made an attempt, and the technical term you are trying to mention, I'm not conversant with it.
Oh, but if you've made the line of sight is the first thing that if you are going to install the Wi-Fi, that is the first thing you will check.
Yes.
And the line of sight means that you will be able to bring that Wi-Fi connection over there. So if the line of sight is not there, then it means that it wouldn't even engage you on that at the first place. So have you made that progress?
I've not made that because I've not got...
It is 50-50 trial lag. It's 50-50.
On the basis that if the line of sight is not...
It's 50-50.
Yes, please.
So you are presenting a budget, a policy that you don't know whether it will work or not, because you haven't even tested the line of sight. And this is because I am well versed in this. So what of the other policies that I don't have technical knowledge on that? This one is the one that I'm able to talk about because I have technical knowledge in that. So the others that I don't have technical knowledge in that, it means that it can also be 50-50. Because the first one that I've checked is 50-50.
Not really.
50-50. I'm saying it can. There's a possibility.
That is to your...
No, just, it's not right or wrong. We are just having a nice conversation. Do you get it? So we are just, it's not right or wrong. We are just having a nice conversation. So just flow, be okay. So it means it's 50-50. It can be 50-50. Let me use can. first one, do you understand that the Wi-Fi project is 50-50 because we haven't tested line of sight? Do you know, I did the same thing on my campus. Do you get it? There's a campus, there's a hostel at my place called Hostel 1. Do you get it? Waterworks. And I followed your same, so I'm not trying to make you look incompetent because I treaded on the same path. I promised, and later when I followed up, it couldn't pass the line of sight. Do you get it? So we are now engaging other means, which is obviously my time is elapsing. Do you get it? And I don't want you to start something that later you would go and you would fail the students. I want us to maintain the credibility of the SRC. That is why I'm talking about this. I hope you are getting it.
It's
so
wonderful.
I want you to understand where I'm coming from. So it's 50-50.
I get you.
Do you get it? So your policy is hanging. It's 50-50. Your policy can work. It can work. Based on the fact that you haven't done enough background check on that.
I believe.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
My response will have a back into that.
No, just answer then after that.
Okay, yes. Yes, yes.
So it means it's 50-50.
Yes, please.
Okay, so good evening.
Good evening, Honorable.
So I'll start with your health and sanitation policy.
Yes, please.
Do you know they have who are you going to command now to procure these items? Who are you going to force, or who are you not force? Who are you going to see to that this person is supposed to help provide these items for the hostel?
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable.
Be quick, your time is fast.
Yes, so hostel dues and other staffs are paid, and those monies are taken by, management to ensure that the appropriate. Pardon?
Is it the hostel management or the school management?
The school management. It goes to the school management to ensure that the right steps to getting finance or funds released for the purchasing of those items are followed duly. And that we will collaborate with the hostel president to ensure that they write their budget and that is being passed through the hall wardens to the student.
The hostel have their management team, which is they have a porter, they have an administrator, they have a warden, plus the president and the vice president of a hostel. Other ones even have secretary and others. This is even my hostel, I'm giving you the structure.
Yes, please.
If anything goes wrong, you go to the hall warden, you request for the service. And as to when they write to the school delivers funds to them. They do it. So are you going to put pressure on management to deliver the funds quickly to them when they apply?
No, please.
You can't put because the money is available when it is, and they give it to them when it's needed. So these are the works of a hostel management team. And they are complete, they are set. So why are you going to influence the work of a hostel management team? I say that because the hostel members select their president and vice president. And if they think not capable, they can vote him out. Or take to report him to the management and he's taken off. So why are you going to meddle in affairs of hostel management team, which is set? Because the school has a structure at every point. So you should know your place. Because I won't allow you to come to my hostel and come and dictate for me. I'm a hostel vice president. I won't allow you to come to my hostel and come and dictate for me. Okay, so that was just it.
Okay.
The next one. You said you want to have a change in policy for this GPA. No, when a student fail.
Yes, please.
The person will write it until the person pass, not to repeat. Isn't it?
Yes, please.
So is it that the person will go on, maybe, let me use the person is in level 200. The person failed a course in level 200. Elective. And the person races, writes a supplementary paper. And the person does not pass. We want the person to go to level 300 whilst keeping on writing that paper, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, please.
The person will continue going on.
Yes, please.
And you read a section in the school handbook, but you didn't read the page, the front page. That the 8 that you quoted, point 1, which is the first thing when you open the book. First, there's a picture of a beautiful lady also over there. Page 62 from my handbook. It stated that, so let me read the last point. Units of courses are examinable at the end of every semester. And if passed, a student shall earn credits or credits for the units. The courses are coded and numbered in progressive order of difficulty. difficulty.
Yes, please.
So the school know that because you are doing level 100, they are less difficult than 200, and they are less difficult than 300, less difficult than 400. So if you are not able to pass a less difficult one, you want the school to send you up to go and do the one which is more difficult.
That is
the policy here. So if you're going to tell the student they should change it, the person should go for it. That means you didn't read this part. And with this in standing, I'm telling that you can't change it. And that's why the other administration went there didn't face any change. So then, I'm telling you that that policy is not feasible. Because the courses are arranged. You know, what program am I offering, please? MedLab. Okay, so I'm not going to. But do you have any kids at home? Any children you see around?
Yes, please.
We have something called developmental stages. A person should learn how to sit. You even think about running. To think about running. So there are processes. And if you're able to achieve the first stage, you want to jump and go and do a difficult one. Whilst you keep on trying the less difficult one. So I'm telling you that policy is not feasible. It's not going to change.
Honorable, thank you for your submission to that. But I believe as SLC, there is more to that. Just as the other institutions, our sister institutions, they have a similar practice where a student, if a student happens to trail, that student is allowed to continue while rewriting that paper. Yes.
Do you know what is their policy? Is it written in their book, their handbook, that is arranged in order of difficulty? Because before you cut a coat to fit every side, you should be careful. If that's what they are doing, do you know why they are doing that? Do you know how tech grade, do you know what is A in tech?
Yes,
you know
please.
What's A?
85.
85 or 75?
Tech is 75.
And
Tech is
yes.
75. 80.
So is it because tech is 75 and people are getting, so you should bring here 75?
No, please.
Every institution have their policy. And that's what the student handbook is giving to you.
So,
and don't say that because other sister university, they are doing it, so it's possible here. The school has stated it rules in the student handbook, which I'm happy you quoted. But you didn't quote the page, which that I'm making this assertion. And because that is the first thing that chapter is talking about, before you start opening on to talk about the courses. So if you want to know that really, that means you don't even know what is inside. You make judgment. You make judgment like that. So please, that policy is not feasible. Because the school has its policy that things are arranged in order of difficulty. If you can't pass the less difficult one, we are not expecting to go and pass the other one. So that's the school policy. So I'm telling you that it's not feasible. I think you have
I just have one last.
Okay.
So, do you have a personal incentive for going for this position? Do you have a personal incentive for going for this position?
Constitutionally or?
A personal incentive, like a self-interest?
No, please.
So why are you going for the position?
As I stated earlier in my introduction, I am motivated by the desire to make impact wherever I find. Yes, please.
Okay, so one of the things that you'll be doing is the meticulous accountability of all SRC resources.
Yes, please.
And you'll be taking the oath after you are elected.
Yes, please.
Now, do you know that you wrote one thing about embarking on a presidential tour?
Yes, please.
You said you'll be embarking
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You also made mention of the scarcity of resources
Yes.
of the SRC. Did you make mention of that?
I haven't kept it that.
But do you know that the SRC is having scarce resources?
I can't talk much on that.
Do you know, yes or no?
No.
You don't know?
Yes,
so you
please.
think the SRC is having enough money, like the SRC is having money? You are part of the finance committee.
Yes, I was part of the fund. Yes, so.
But you are part of the finance committee.
Yes, please.
And you know the
At the SRC. So at the finance committee, I think at the finance committee, what we do is the budgets that are being prepared. Yes. Yes.
Okay, then I'm telling you that we don't have much resources.
Okay.
So you embarking on presidential tour, what money are we going to use? Is it going to come from your pocket? will you be embarking on such course?
Yes, so I'm aware of some funds allocated as administrative budget.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Like I said, I'll be cutting if I get the answer.
Yes,
So
please.
we're using administrative budget for finance.
Yes,
for
please.
Presidential talk.
Exactly,
Do you know
boss.
what the administrative budget is supposed to be used for? Do you know what it's supposed to be used for?
Yes, please.
What is it supposed to be used for?
The day-to-day affairs of the
So if
SRC
you
and
are hungry, you can just take the money because it's a day-to-day affairs. If
of
a
the
student is hungry-
SRC.
Of the SRC.
Yes, please.
You are in charge of the welfare. So if a student is hungry, you can just give the student 10.
Not really.
But it's also part of the welfare.
I think it's not constitutional.
How would you feel if your SRC provincial president comes and tell you that he is administrative budget to do hostel tour? Would you feel good about it?
It depends on, Honorable, it will depend on what is embarking on the tour or the reason behind the tour. I believe, yes.
Going to mine for gold in the hostel. The administrative budget, okay, has a stipulation. It has what you are supposed to. Do you know how the administrative budget is presented in Parliament? Do you know how it's presented? Do you know how it is presented?
Yes, please.
You know how it's presented. You see, you are life. Don't say something that later you wouldn't know.
Yes, I don't know how it's presented in Parliament, but financial committee, I have seen budgets, administrative budgets come.
So you know the structure.
Yeah, I know the structure. I know the components.
Can you mention anything?
So there's a component for transport in the administrative budgets I've approved.
Is it federal or provincial?
That is provincial.
Are you sure? No, wait, are you sure?
Yes, please.
Because the federal, because of the transport committee. So are you trying to tell me that provincial, we have transport as a component?
Yes, please.
And transport for what? Transport for?
Oh, the day-to-day movement, going to PEM site and other things are transport. Maybe as a provincial SRC president, you are called upon to attend a meeting at PEM site. Those are transports that
Very good. So that constitutes the presidential tour.
Yes.
So you are going to use that money that you are supposed to use for emergency purposes if you are called to the hostel for a presidential tour.
So, Honorable, to respond to that.
Just go straight to the. I'm listening.
Yes, please.
So you are going to use that transport. You know, and you know it's cut across 2 months.
Yes, please.
So you are going to take that money, that transport section, and use it for presidential tour. And when you are being called upon for an emergency in the hostel, you would use another money from another section.
So, thank you very much for that, Honorable. That isn't what I'm actually driving at, but the reason behind the presidential tour is to appreciate the concerns of students at the various hostels.
I'll get you.
Yes, please.
Without a presidential tour, you can't appreciate the concerns of the students. Do you know the work of your secretary?
Yes.
That the work of your secretary also entails getting information from the students, their grievances, and channeling them to you.
Yes, please.
You know that.
Yes, please.
You know the SRC has mechanisms of generating students' concern.
Yes, please.
So you would forfeit all those ones, and because you want to do glamorous, so you would go for a presidential tour.
Not really.
But that is what you just said as your main purpose for the presidential tour, to appreciate the concerns of the students.
Yes. So this policy or this idea.
Yes or no? That is what you said.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yes. So you would forfeit the other measures.
Not
so
really.
you use the same measures, but you would then it becomes personal aggrandizement. You would just add the presidential tour to it.
Yes, please.
And use their money that is located for something else for the presidential tour.
So I think the transport, those monies allocated to the provinces, that is as their administrative duties.
Do you know the figure that is allocated for transport?
If I'm not wrong, for transport.
Yes.
I don't know the figure. It depends on the various.
It will be enough for a presidential tour.
Yes, please.
You don't know the figure, but it will be enough for a presidential tour.
The particular figure allocated for transport.
Yes, you don't know.
I know it varies from campus to campus or depending on the.
No, but
in the case of the province, yes.
It's fixed.
Oh no, I don't know the.
You don't know.
Yes, I don't
but
know.
It will be enough for a presidential tour.
Yes, I believe.
You believe?
Yes, please.
So you are still telling me that you are not certain, you are just believing. Because why not?
Not.
Okay, thank you.
That was a follow-up, so let me finish my question.
Okay.
You are part of the financial committee, right? That means you saw the budget for the lava benches. You saw the budget for the lava's bench. Financial committee, you have to see the budget for the lava's bench.
Yes, I'm aware. I heard of it, but
you didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Okay, so you initially said when you make a policy or a proposition, you send it to the GA. It's been deliberated. When it's approved, you send it to Parliament. You argue it out. Parliament approves it. It goes to the dean signs, and the money is disbursed, right?
Yes, please.
So a Lovers Bench project has been approved by Parliament.
Yes, please.
But that is not in fruition.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, the Dean of Students offered a recommendation, which she brought another view, that is to, instead of them making the Lovers Bench, they should get something more modernized and something more lasting, of which the financial requirement to that, the SRC cannot make it to it. So that is why it's
the
on hold.
Lovers Bench was the first policy or project that was brought to Parliament. So up to now, we've even made a court after. So I think it is only the changes and the money. Didn't they have any procurement issue? To do projects like this, you need to go to procurement. And you know the processes involved in procurement. So you want people to come and build or construct a Lovers Bench. Do you know the process involved when you go to procurement? Yes, because if Parliament approves and it doesn't meet the procurement requirement, the school will not allow you to do that. So you mentioning and cutting it off thinking that the moment Parliament approves, that is all. And the students are waiting. Oh, we approve it. They are not disbursing the funds. They are not disbursing the funds, but we are able to construct a multipurpose court. So what then is the problem? So there are procurement processes. So what are the processes involved in procurement? In projects such as this, because you mentioned Lovers Bench, and I'm not taking it off because this current administration, the province also brought this project up, and it's not being seen by students. Why do you think? And he said it's the financial, I've given as the procurement processes. What are the processes involved in procurement in these activities? Because they're going to promise the student this, and the students are going to take it one day and tell that you promised that, and it's not in fruition. And they'll ask you, you then blame procurement. But when you're making a policy, you should have thought of the processes involved and factor in procurement. How am I going to get it done? I have to send a bid, send in their tender, how the companies are selected. You have to know all these things before you even write it down. So when you write it down, students see it, you have the plan in mind. This was the first project that this current administration approved. And we're almost done with the second semester and nothing. And you're writing it again. And here you have access to it. Okay. So I think that policy, since you know the procurement, is 50-50. Because it's 50, no, here now, I'm sure it is going to be 60-40, not happening 60-40 happening. Because the semester is almost done. So what shows that the blockade that they face, you don't even know what was there. What shows that you can give the students what you promised. Okay, so let's move on. Then you said you want students to participate in the school sports team, right? Why? Have you noticed that there are few people who participate in the school sports team? You've realized. And is it because the students are not interested in sports? Is it because the students are not interested in sports? But your motivation here, there's no motivation. You are recruiting them. Where is the motivation in this? Because the students are not there. I can't go and, do you know some of the sister universities that you were comparing initially? They give admission to some students for them to come, and they give them some, because they're based on sports, so they give them some marks. They award them some marks, some credits for participating in sports for them. So assuming maybe you are in a school, we give you five marks for every course that you're offering. So that's when you're done, means yours is, instead of 100, yours is 95. Or I'm giving you 10 when you participate in school activity. The motivation here was not stated. Recruits, every day we've been recruiting. Last year I saw the ladies were having a volleyball tournament to recruit ladies. What has happened now? You know the school has been tagged as University of Heat and Academic Stress. And you want people to participate, and you said now motivation. But there's no motivation on the paper. And policy documents, these are legal documents. That when you come to and you don't do it, someone can take you on, that you promise that. What has happened? No, getting them on board. Don't you need to tell me the motivation? When you tell me the motivation, you don't need to go around. The moment you tell me the motivation now, it is stated. A communique has been released from the school management. Because the VC also made mention of the same thing when she was giving her speech. I don't know if it's called inaugural speech, but she was giving a speech. She made mention of that sports issue. So then, you have to tell us what we are in for. Not to lure me in, because when I'm going in, I don't know what is in. Let me enter first before you tell me. So, this thing, your first motivation. State us what motivation you want. And even the VC has even said she wants people there. So that's even a point that you're going to talk to VC. He sets a form of motivation for people to come in that area. But organize them. The sports, are you going to do it better than the sports committee or the sports institution of the UHAS Src? Okay, so I think that policy is also not feasible. It's not going to last. Then, he said you also employ security agencies. No, that one I think, some of my time. Let's talk about bringing additional food on board, welfare policy. Do you know what goes in to come and sell at the school canteen? What goes into it? So that's all. The person does not pay any amount for using the place located. The person does not pay any amount for the place the person is using. The person does not pay any amount to the school. They pay. I'm not asking for a specific amount, but they know they pay. So if I have my place of work outside, across the street, where I already get my customers, for example, Gobe, all the students know where the Gobe joints are located. They cross the street to go and buy the gobe. And you're telling me to come and put a stand or come and put a place here. Wait, I'm coming. And I'm paying for it at a cost that the profit I'm getting does not match.
So thank you very much, Honorable. This policy, I have already engaged a lot of food vendors out there who are willing to come to the campus to render their services. But because of the processes involved.
But wait. Did you tell them that they will pay for using the premise? you sure the student patronize it?
Yes, please.
You sure?
Yes,
I stay here and just behind my room, there is a canteen. And I'm seeing the number of students that go there. Are you sure the profit they make?
Yes.
Have you talked to any of the vendors about this issue?
Yes, sir.
Talk to the vendors. Please, which of the vendors?
Yes, we are doing an engagement with the vendor here.
There are so many vendors. What's the name? Which of them? Because we have to verify what we are saying and your record. So which of the vendors?
Okay, so I don't know.
So let me put, there's a first part where they sell stationery and they sell drinks. Then there's a second part which they sell food, banku and other stuff. The bean seller. Okay, so we find out.
Okay. Charlie. Actually, Honorable has asked many of my questions, so I'll ask you some few questions.
Talk to the gobe seller. And you are bringing other gobe. Dabe and Asogli. And Asogli or Dabe.
Okay, so Mr. Doot, under your academic policies, the last one, I guess, yeah. No, I think that's last but one. Push for the early release of semester results. Can you take me through the processes for releasing results in the school, right from writing, let's say, the paper, the exams. Let's say you are writing biostat, and you are done. Can you take me through the processes? Okay, so which of the processes would you come in to push the agenda?
Yes, so we are going to work with the director of academic affairs, the directorate of academic affairs, since they have the core mandate of working out the academic issues pertaining to the student body. So we are going to push through them to ensure that they also channel it to management, because the timelines for exams, the schedule of exam or semester schedules are being released by registrar. So in the timelines, there is always a duration for examination, as I said, starting from lectures, there is duration for lectures, there is duration for examination, there is duration for declaration of results. I believe all these timelines, if they are work at meeting them, or all the various bodies involved in the declaration of results are actually pushing to work at meeting the results will be released on time.
Okay, so before the results get to the administration or the registrar, as you are saying, the lecturer has to mark it, right?
Yes.
So in case there's a delay from the lecturer side, how can the registrar, okay, or the academic affairs that you are going to engage help in releasing the results as soon as possible, as you are saying?
So that comes down to the lecturer being encouraged to meet their timelines. Once timelines are given to a lecturer, you are expected to present your result of benchmarking at this time. Every lecturer will work at meeting.
So how do you come in to help or talk to each of the lecturers that you should mark the papers on time, or how do you do that? My last question on that same point. You've been in this school for 3 years, right? Results are supposed to be released before the starting of the next academic, the next semester, right? Okay. But since you came to level 100, they release results maybe 1 month after when the next semester starts. So do you think you can make a change, or do you think the people occupying the office that you are vying for right now, they've not tried, or the academic affairs, or which body that you think is engaged in this activity, they are not doing anything about it, which you can come and do something about it? Okay, I personally don't think you can do something about that, because that is the norm.
Yes. Yes, regardless. One thing I would like to know is, have you found out the root cause for the delay? Because knowing the root of an issue would actually help us to know where to cut, as in how to tackle the issue. Have you found out the root cause of the issue? As in, why exactly there is always a delay? And it's not just from a particular school. It cuts across the entire university. You know, lectures, they mark, but there is a time for declaration of results within the various schools. I don't know if you know about that. But so have you found out the exact reason why this keeps on delaying? Have you found out? Is that a yes or no question?
Yes.
You have found out?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what is the root cause?
Yes, I found out, but then the source wasn't reliable, because I don't have the capacity to move to the reliable source. But the reason I found out was there's a delay at the departmental level, that is lecturers not meeting the time frame. So that was the major reason I found out. But
Mr. Doot, please,
that is the let me just do a follow-up on that one. If lecturers, so that is the only, you said it is not even from a reliable source. That was what you just said.
Yes,
that even the information you have, that this is the root cause of a delay in the declaration or the posting of results, is not even from a. Okay, well, but so what do you intend to do to these lecturers? Are you planning on motivating them? What do you intend to do?
So I initially said that we are not going to, it is not in my capacity to make an engagement with the various lecturers. We are going to work with institutions or offices. So we shall push it through the academic affairs office.
And you are provincial?
Yes,
for
please.
Who?
Yes,
not Hohwe.
yes, please.
So are you just looking at this whole? What happens to School of Public Health?
Oh yes, their provincial president will also advocate for them.
What if it's not part of his policy, or he doesn't feel, like just as Honorable is saying, that he doesn't feel it's feasible?
I only have the mandate to speak for my campus, but not any other campus.
And we are telling you that this issue cuts across the entire university. It's not just a one, maybe your school or SAS, or it cuts across the entire university. Do you get it?
I get you very right, and I'm very much aware of that. And that
Sure.
is why the need for that policy.
So try and get the root cause. I think it will help you to know how to tackle the issue. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Doot.
Yes, please.
Please, who was the first female vice chancellor in the Ghanaian university?
Okay.
That's my last question.
Professor Rita Akosua, the vice chancellor of KNUST.
Please, that is not true. You can go and find out.
Okay.
Mr.
Nana
Doot,
Jane.
I just want to ask you some few questions. I hope you know Honorable Adum very well.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And you know some of his policies. Do you know some of his policies?
Yes, some of his policies.
Some.
Yes.
And you think he have achieved all?
No, please.
No. Do you think there is a reason why he couldn't achieve those policies?
Yes, please.
Can you mention two?
So one of the policies I will mention is the issue of the lovers benches. And the reason he gave me was what I earlier on mentioned to the panel. Yes, so another one was he was trying to work in his policies. He had it in his policies to secure accommodation for students. Yes, so he tried working on it, but he has not been able to accomplish it because he realized that there wasn't a unit. That is what I heard from him, and I'm not quoting the exact words I heard from him. Good. So he tried working on it, but then he hasn't been able to achieve it.
Okay, so do you know any of his policies that he will be able to achieve?
Please come again with the question.
I'm asking if you know any of his policies, like any policy that he was able to, any of his policies that he was able to achieve.
Yes, please.
How many?
I can only mention a few because I don't have his policy. I can't.
5, just a figure. Oh, I know of 2, 3.
Okay, so I know of 2.
2.
Yes,
so
please.
by rating out of 10, how will you rate him?
So I know of 2, and that doesn't mean that that is the policies I know he has been able to fulfill.
So what are the 2?
The 2 policies. Yes, so he was saying in his policy, he themed this like Adum for the people. That is bringing the SRC to the student body. And as part of his policies, those policies, he embarked on a presidential tour. And that was a very nice platform to engage the various student populace and to get their involvement in the SRC. Good. And another thing was to liaise with the stakeholders in the whole municipality, which he was able to do that. He had a meeting with the MCE of Ho to discuss relevant issues pertaining to the SRC. So those are the notable policies that I can remember, but the other ones I don't have them off head and I can't.
Okay, and so let's say what came out of it? What came out of those activities he took?
Okay, so as I said earlier on, with the presidential tour, it's a very nice initiative, and I was part of the team. And we actually heard a lot from the team, the various students. We realized that there are so many challenges that the students are facing at the hostel level, and we also spoke to the hall presidents, because at every hostel we went around with the various hostel presidents. So the students poured out their heart to the team. And the engagement with the MCE, I think he was able to build, or he's trying to build should I say, a correlation with the community, such that going forward, we can collaborate with them, or we can seek for support in order to support our projects as a SRC.
Okay, so I've asked you earlier to rate him out of 10.
So I'll give him 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis Doot, for coming. It's nice having this conversation with you, and we wish you all the very best. So we'd like you to look to the camera over there, or just this one, and express a few words to your well wishers out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Yeah, good evening, well wishers of Team Doot and good students of UHAS. It's nice engaging with you on through this platform, and And I will entreat you to believe in the visions of Team Doot. We have a very good and solid policies for the student populace, and we are entreating you to continue to rally behind us. Should we become successful throughout the vetting. So we wish you all the best, and we also entreat you. We wish you all the best as you are preparing for your exams, and we pray that the good Lord will see you through the examination period. Thank you and have a wonderful night.